Prepare yourself for the terror. The prison of madness, where few enter and none return.
Welcome to Unsung Horrors with Lance and Erica.
Leave all your sanity behind. It can't help you now.
Welcome to another episode of Unsung Horrors. I'm Erica.
I'm Lance.
And this is our annual recap of our films that we watch for the Horror Gives Back Challenge. So if you're not familiar, our Horror Gives Back Challenge is where we ask folks to donate $1 or more per horror movie that they watched in October. We do provide a list of prompts for each day that you could have followed, but you didn't have to. A lot of people did, and we're excited to see everyone's watches in our Discord and people who are sharing on Instagram. Maybe there were people sharing on Twitter. I don't know. I'm not there anymore. But yeah, we had a great month. We had a lot of people donate not only to our fundraiser through Best Friends Animal Society, but a lot of folks, and I think more than in previous years, actually donated to a lot of other local charities. A lot of folks donating to food banks, which is definitely needed right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I did want to start before we jump into going through all of our picks and shout out all the folks who did donate to Best Friends Animal Society besides Lance and I. We had Alex S., Mark S., Adam H., Matt C., Kelly K., Matthew S., Adam R., Austin G., Terry E., Brendan T., and we had an anonymous donor who matched what everyone else put in. So we did meet our goal and actually surpassed it. We ended up raising just over $2,000 for Best Friends Animal Society.
Amazing.
Sam Panico also donated to Best Friends Animal Society, and he had a recap episode for his podcast, BNS About Movies. It was a recap of his watches, but it also included some of Adam's, Parker's from the Where Is My Mind podcast, and one of our listeners, John Kahn, all of whom had write-ups on the BNS website for Horror Gives Back during October.
Yeah, that was a really cool idea from Sam.
Yeah. I love when he brings in like actresses' voices to like read something for him. It's the funniest thing. But we also had Celeste La Cabra. They did a recap on YouTube of their watches for Horror Gives Back. So you can check that out. I'll put a link to Sam's podcast as well as a link to Celeste's YouTube recap. And I did also want to shout out all the other people who donated and to the charities to which they donated. So first we had Leonidas, who donated to a local foundation for bat protection. Stiff Tongue Fleeter Mauschwitz.
Good.
I tried. The German part of me should have done a little bit better with that, but
you ended it with the shoots, which was good.
I tried. Henry donated to Wild Futures, which is it's a monkey sanctuary, and this is actually where his adopted son Chico lives.
That's awesome.
Clockerin on our Discord. I know his name's I think it's Michael. He donated money to Ingus KTM, which is a Danish animal shelter that rescues and rehomes cats. He said he primarily donated to them because he wanted to hear how well we would pronounce it. I think I did okay. Ingus KTM?
Sounds, better than I would do.
Okay. Navy 98 donated to the Trevor Project, another charity that we love. Kringle donated to a local charity called The Brick, which helps the homeless in their town in northern England. George donated to Anima Wildlife Rescue in Greece. Princess Cosmia donated to the Trans Equality Youth Fund. John Kahn, who I mentioned earlier in the BNS About Movies recap, he donated to a local SNAP fundraiser that his friend was helming. And then Klon donated to a local food bank in Georgia, and in our Discord also put an amazing list together of some random awards, which I wanted to share from his watches for the month. He said the best weapon was from Psycho Ape. It was a banana.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that movie.
He said the best kill was Blood Brothers, the fetus ripper. Best nudity, male, goes to dick flapping muscle dude on horseback in Night Terrors. And best nudity, female, it could go to no one else but Lena Romay.
100%.
And that was for her at a psychedelic orgy in Night Has 1,000 Desires. So thanks everyone for donating once again, whether it was to our fundraiser or to another one of your choice. I know times are tough this year, but seeing people still pull through and do this means so much to not only the people who are receiving these funds, but to us to see people who continue to participate this way.
Yeah, and I love the idea of everybody donating, not everybody, but those who donated locally to local charities. Mm-hmm. I love seeing all the international charities and reading and learning about that. So very cool. Very good.
Yeah. There is a bat sanctuary in northern Texas that would have been where my money went if we weren't doing the best friends, because it's still animal related.
Yeah.
But I follow them on Instagram. It's my favorite Instagram page. Besides dramatic skeleton reenactments. That's my other one.
Yeah, there's an Austin Farm Sanctuary here in Austin that I follow, and I've donated, just throughout the year to them. Yeah, they do great work just bringing in animals for no kill and raising them till they naturally pass.
Yeah, live their best life until it's time. But we have a lot of movies to get through. Lance probably has 31. I've got maybe 60.
You're joking. Tell me you're joking.
Okay, maybe 40.
GD.
There's a lot. I think we have a lot of duplicates, so it's fine.
We do, and I think we picked a few of the past episodes. So
yeah.
Let's fly through this, right?
I think we owe our listeners.
You got the guest room ready?
Yeah. We're going to take multiple pee breaks. I hope you ate so your stomach doesn't start growling mid-recording.
I mean, I didn't eat enough.
You never?
This is early in the morning.
It is.
I mean, earlier than normal.
Yeah.
We'll get through it.
All right. Well, why don't you kick it off then with day one? Lon Chaney, junior or senior?
Okay, I went with senior. I think we both picked senior and the same movie, The Unknown from 1927.
Yes, this was mine as well.
Yeah, directed by Todd Browning. Yeah, Lon Chaney plays Alonzo the Armless. He has no arms, and it's a very committed plan.
Your arm's off.
Well, Joan Crawford's hands, men's hands, how I hate them. So Lon Chaney, he's very committed to this plan. Basically, he's acting like he has no arms, and he joins a circus so that he can't be fingerprinted because he's a criminal. A little excessive, but mad respect.
I mean, I love it's a complicated and requires a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
To doing something like this.
And he's dedicated to this role that he's taking on. He's shooting rifles, throwing knives at Joan Crawford, smoking cigarettes, playing guitars, all with his feet. And it's very real looking. I was like, this can't be real, but it is. Mm-hmm. It's I had to look it up. It's a gentleman named Paul Desmuke. He was a real armless circus performer and a knife thrower. He performed all these movements, and Todd Browning staged kind of elaborate angles and setups to kind of integrate his feet and his legs underneath Chaney's head and torso. Yeah, and it looks great. I'm just wondering if Chaney actually got like a mouthful of toes every so often, like accidentally. Some toe sucking in 1920s. But no, I loved this. The 20-year-old Joan Crawford was unrecognizable to me.
I didn't know it was her until after I looked it up and was making my notes, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I know her, in her later career, so I kept reminding myself that's Joan Crawford, and I could never see it. It was very strange.
Yeah.
But she was great in it, very dramatic, 1920s fashion. I loved the the costume designs and how all the men wore these headscarves, like they were Douglas Fairbanks or something, or Jack Sparrow. Or
Ew, why'd you go there?
Yeah, but I think I'll be Alonzo the Armless for Halloween one year and just have everybody feed me and serve me drinks.
You're going to smoke with your toes?
Yeah, well, I won't have the 3 thumbs. That was very interesting too. Yeah. The 3 thumbs. That's what he had when he finally revealed his hands.
Yeah, or 2 thumbs. It was like double thumbed. Like he had the extra one pointing out there.
Right. Yeah. And then he had just the regular one.
Yeah. Yeah. John was actually reading the Todd Browning biography around the time that we watched this. And he was telling me about how at one point Todd Browning had pitched a movie to a Mankiewicz, one of the producers, about ape heads on women's bodies or something like that. And I want to live in the timeline where that movie was made.
Yeah.
Because I don't like this timeline. But I also want to see that movie.
Yeah. I want to see an ape head on 20-year-old Joan Crawford.
Would have been great. And have, Alonzo feeding it bananas with his feet.
Throwing bananas at it with his Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was a good way to start October. This was actually the first movie I watched in October. So it kind of lined up. I don't think it was on the first, but. Yeah,
it was one of the first I watched. I started mid-September because I had a lot going on and a lot to get through. So this was one of my earliest watches, but still memorable. I think it was one of my favorites of the month.
Nice. Yeah, same. It was one of my favorites too.
What did you watch for a sequel?
Okay, so I watched all of my movies out of order. And for my sequel pick, it's Dr. Satan versus Black Magic from 1968. It's a sequel to Dr. Satan, which I watched for Hail Satan on day 18, which I'll get to. This was directed by Rogelio A. Gonzalez.
Oh,
Ship of Monsters, Skeleton and Mrs. Morales, one of our favorites. So Dr. Satan is brought back to life. Yes, he dies in the first one, seemingly. He's brought back to life by Satan, who instructs him to find and kill a man named Yelin, who's this black magician. He has this formula that will challenge Satan. And the formula is a combination of metals, which can be turned into gold. And we learn that Satan created gold to control the souls of man. So if Yelin is able to control this, create this gold, he pretty much can control the world. That's what Satan thinks. And, Dr. Satan's like, why can't you just kill him? And Satan replies that, quote, only man can kill man, which was kind of interesting to me. I mean, there's nature, there's disease. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Satan threatens him, like, if you don't do this, you'll never find eternal peace. So this is your project.
Okay.
The Yelin character is awesome. He's like a vampire, but he's also like this wizard, and he can turn into a bat. Has a very fantastic, cute bat, which you would appreciate. Aww. The cute bat attacks Dr. Satan. So we get this great scene of him fighting a flapping puppet. Very cute. As a vampire, he tries to bite one of Dr. Satan's zombies, which I'll talk about more when I get to Hail Satan as zombies. But when he bites into it, he looks up at the camera. He's all, zombies, disgusting. Very cute. This one is in color, so it hits a little different than the original. It's less spooky, less kind of horror feeling. Mm-hmm. Same composer, though, Luis Hernandez Breton, who did the score for both movies. And it's just standout. And he also did the score for Aunt Alejandra, which we'll be talking about.
Okay.
The ending is it's much sillier than the original, but it's very action-packed. It has bombs. It has fist fights. I enjoyed the first one a little bit more, which I'll talk about here in the next 4 hours. But I'd love to see both of these, if they're not released already, on like a set. A lot of fun. I picked a lot of Mexican horror this month.
Nice.
So
I wish I had. So my sequel pick... And I didn't feel like updating my list yet again on Letterboxd because this was the last one that I watched for Horror Gives Back. I watched it like the first week of November, actually, because John said he wanted to watch it. And I kept being like, do you want to watch it? He's like, oh, tomorrow or later. I'm like, God, fine. So we finally watched it. And I should have checked the genre labels on this one because it's not a horror movie.
I cheated a few with mine.
This isn't not even like thriller category.
Is it horror on Letterboxd?
No, that's my fault. I didn't even check the genre there. So I watched Door to Tokyo Diary from 1991. Now, that being said, I love this movie, but it's not a horror movie. Yeah, I really liked it. I do recommend it.
You watched it in November. It's No Rules November.
Okay, well, I guess that counts, but I can say that I don't recommend an actual horror sequel that I paid movie theater money to see because there's a dead kid in it. I watched The Strangers Chapter 2.
What?
I know.
Wow, this is like the surprise of the year.
No, I watch these movies whenever someone's like, Erica, there's a dead kid. Like I watched Thunderbolts because Celeste told me there's a dead kid in it. And I was like, God fucking damn it.
Was there a dead kid in it?
There's a dead kid in it.
I haven't seen it.
They take it back though. It's that they undo it because, cowards. But
it's a superhero movie.
Yeah. Well, there is a flashback of a girl getting shot, but I think she's a teenager. But the one like actual dead kid, they undo it at the end. So spoiler for Thunderbolts, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't need to watch it anymore.
So Strangers Chapter 2 is the sequel to the reboot and the most absolute and pointless, boring horror movie that I have seen in a very long time. It strips away everything that's scary about the villains. And I don't even like the original Strangers because, I think it's you and I. I think you and I are the united front on not liking the Strangers because Liv Tyler and, I don't know, Scott Stapp's, whatever.
Speedman.
Whatever.
It's Scott Stapp.
With Scott Stapp. I don't know.
He's the singer for Creed.
Oh my God.
That's great. My doors bust open. Who are all these strangers?
I wish that movie had been made with him.
That would be awesome. I want a musical of that. Stapp, I mean.
Oh, okay. Anyway, they're super unlikable, so that movie honks. And anyway, so what Rennie Harlan is directing all of these reboots. There's fucking 3 of them.
No.
Because it's the first one is a reboot. It's just the first one. And then the second one, it starts off what you think is going to be like Halloween 2 because the girl is in the hospital and it like stays there for a while. And I was like, oh shit, is this going to be Halloween 2? Okay, maybe I can get behind this. Nope. We got to leave the hospital and she's got to go get lost in the woods. And then we have to have a giant fucking boar, BOAR, also BORE, happen in the middle of the woods. And then there's like the fucking ending of it is one of them gets killed by the, girl boss. And like the dude stranger is all sad about it. Like, strangers have feelings too. I fucking hate this movie so much.
Yeah, but it does have a dead child.
It does. Good. It's in the flashback because you got to have an origin story for the strangers about like why they're strangers.
Did they have a child?
Okay. Well, this is how 2 of the strangers met. Is in a flashback. They killed a girl together, and we're like, oh, we're best friends now. I fucking hate this movie.
Watch listed. No.
Anyway, let's move on to something I did really like, and that's the Bleeding Skull pick. Always a favorite. So I did a lot of rewatches this month because I did a guest spot on Sam Deegan's podcast, Arrows Plus Massacre of Telephone Terror. And so a lot of them, I was like, well, I can count a lot of these for categories. That'll save me some time. Yeah. This is one of them. So I rewatched Out of the Dark from 1988. This has a review on the Bleeding Skull website from 2021. And I liked it when I first watched it, but I liked it even more on this rewatch. There's a phone sex company ran by the lovely Karen Black, and it's called Sweet Nothings. But these phone sex girls are being murdered by a guy who calls in and wears a clown mask. He's got great lines like, nobody can handle nipples like Bobo. It's got Bud Cort in it. Paul Bartel is in it as a motel manager.
Hell yeah.
Divine is in it as a detective.
Awesome.
Only in it for like a couple of scenes. Jeffrey Lewis.
Does it have a comedic tone to it?
No, it has that a little bit when Divine is in there, and but it is. I mean, it's a slasher, and it can get a little bit brutal, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Tab Hunter. Yeah,
I mean, the cast is stacked in this one. So Out of the Dark, if it was a brand new to me watch, I would say like one of my favorites of the month, but because it was a rewatch, I wouldn't say that. But if you want to hear me talk about this movie a little bit more, you can listen to that episode with me and Sam.
Awesome. My pick for Bleeding Skull Day 3 was on The Edge of Terror, 1992. Directed by Alfredo. This is another Mexican horror. Like I said, I think I picked about 15 or 16
nice.
Horrors from Mexico. Alfredo B. Crevena. This is the first of 2 films that I've watched of his during Horror Gives Back. So this is about an asshole father who has this ventriloquist act that's been failing for years, and he blames his dolls, his dummies, for it. He basically like, you're fucking up. You need to step up. So after a terrible performance, he drinks, he goes home, he treats his young daughter like shit, grabs an axe, and he chops up the dummy that he blames for that failed performance that night. And he also whips them at night to teach them a lesson. These are just dummies, just ventriloquist dolls.
Oh, wait,
right?
Is this the one where it comes back to life as the clown? Okay, I was like, this sounds so familiar, but I forgot the title of it. Okay.
Yeah.
This movie
this was probably my favorite watch of the month.
Okay.
But the really sad thing about it is that his daughter loves all these dummies, and she goes down to the basement where he keeps them, and she talks to him. And that's when we get they're little people playing these dolls.
Yeah.
And they talk back to her, and they're creepy, painted up like clowns. They have names like Smiley, Mopey, Musket, and Dario. Dario. But one evening, the father goes down to the basement when his dummies, where he keeps all his dummies, and he finds his daughter talking to them, and they're telling her raunchy jokes. And he's thinking it's just her talking to herself, coming up with these voices, coming up with these great jokes. He doesn't think or know that these dummies are actually alive in her mind. And he makes her act like a dummy for his performances moving forward. He paints her up as Smiley, the one who he chopped up with an axe. And, if she shows like any type of, she's pushing back saying, I don't want to do this. He basically says like, I'm going to axe up all these other dummies if you don't help me do this. She's like, no, those are my friends. Okay, I'll do it. So it just becomes, his act becomes very successful, and it just gets wild. Felt a bit like Maniac or An Eye for an Eye, a little Joe Spinell. Like the actor Fernando Almada had a Joe Spinell look to him.
He does, yeah.
And I kept thinking like, this is like the Maniac 2 sequel that we never got.
Yeah.
But he acts completely mad. He's so delusional. The young daughter, Carlita, she's also really great in this as a child actress. There's a great montage of her learning to be a ventriloquist doll. The biggest gripe, which I read on a lot of reviews and I can understand, is that the creepy dolls don't get enough screen time, which, and it kind of turns into this telenovela, which I love.
Yes.
It's very melodramatic. It probably runs a little too long, but I was completely invested. One of my favorites of the month. Has this crazy music as well. The whole thing, I was waiting for something to just kind of take me out and disappoint me, but I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. I was like, this thing is a banger. Thank you, Bleeding Skull, for putting it on my radar. Good stuff. Okay, day 4, Lena Romay, Faceless from 1988. I had never seen this. I think a lot of people have seen this Franco. Kind of giving us a standard done before plot. A doctor kidnaps beautiful women to use their blood for his practices of like reconstructing faces. And one of his patients becomes disfigured due to one of his experiments. And she comes by and tries to throw acid on him, but one of his companions take the bullet for him. And his goal is to fix her and her burned face. So it's kind of, it's something we've all seen before. This has a great cast. Bridget LaHaye's in it, Caroline Munro, Helmut Berger. He plays the wicked but very boring doctor. Like, great cast, but I just think they're kind of boring characters, sadly. Chris Mitchum plays the private investigator. The only character who wasn't very, very boring, but didn't get a lot of screen time is Telly Savalas, who's loud and just rambunctious. Yeah. He plays Caroline Munro's father. He's like a rich business mogul trying to find her. She's been kidnapped. There's a Dr. Orloff, who, of course, has to be played by one person.
Yes.
Howard Vernon. And Lena Romay plays his wife in a very small part. Yeah, it's fine. Very slow-paced. uneventful in my opinion. A lot of talking about like flesh experiments and new treatments. Honestly, it got a little old for me. It has some cool practical effects, though. There's a woman getting her arms chopped off. Another takes a syringe to the eyeball, which is really good practical effect. Mm-hmm. There's a gnarly face transplant gone wrong. The burn scars look great. But everybody in this, to me, felt tired, except for Telly Savalas, who's like, all hopped up. It does have a wonderful original song that plays multiple times at the most awkward moments throughout the film, which kind of was my favorite part. I definitely appreciated that. But it's Jess Franco movie. You kind of expect these nonsensical plots with beautiful women and crazy characters. Yeah, it was kind of middle of the road for me. I enjoyed it overall, but wasn't my favorite.
So my Lena Romay pick was Mansion of the Living Dead. I really enjoyed this one. I think this is going to be up there in my top Franco movies. This is, Franco doing The Blind Dead, essentially. There's 4 friends, including an adorable Lena Romay in a blonde bob wig. And she's naked for 90% of the movie, which is what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping.
So they arrive at this Spanish beach resort, which they're told is booked, but there's no other people that they can find there except for the front desk guy. So, I mean, a lot of the movie is them sort of wandering around the resort and going down to the beach and talking and wondering where everyone is. But once the sort of creepy stuff starts ensuing, there's some horny living dead monks, and you know what the only thing is that can save them? It's Lena's vagina.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's every man.
It can save us all.
Yes.
But I really like this one. It's got that perfect sort of Euro horror daytime laziness to it that's just kind of perfect for a Sunday afternoon watch. I might have, be giving it more credit than it deserves, but I really enjoyed it. One thing I don't like for this is the poster on Letterboxd, because I'm like, you got Lena Romay in an adorable blonde, little bob haircut, and who's this broad on the cover? That's not Lena. I don't care for it.
The undead look cool in the
Yeah.
background, but I see her bob right there.
See? Adorable.
Kind of Mulholland Drive-y. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch this.
It's fun. I can't remember where I watched it. I took out all where I watched them at. People can find it, though. Everyone has a Letterboxd, right?
And you saying that you're hyping this up and maybe giving it a higher rating, that's every film that I'm going to go through on my list. So don't.
You do that with every. You're nice to.
I just gave 4.5 stars to On the Edge of Terror. So.
I mean, it is fun, but that's a lot. Okay, 21st Century Horror. This was a struggle for me to accept this as a category, but I was like, you know what?
I'm sorry I put it forward.
It's okay, because I realized that there were Kiroshi Kurosawa movies that I have not seen yet. And one of them was Pulse from 2001.
Oh, okay. I watched this, I feel like, a couple of years ago.
I gotta say, having watched a few of his movies, that man, I think Sam Deegan has said this. He's the only person that should be allowed to make new horror movies, because he knows how to genuinely creep you the fuck out and also just make you question your own existence. I didn't know what else to write about this movie other than it's basically about technology and the lack of connection that we really have with one another. So my notes, just that I didn't even put into full sentences, were ghosts in the machine. We are all connected but cannot connect. Will you be my friend?
Oh, I like that.
That's it. That's my review of it. I love this movie. This was another one of my favorite watches of the month. It's two sides to me, where it's I wish I had seen these sooner because they're so good. But then there's also that part of me that's no, I still have amazing things left to watch that are new, that aren't, that I'm not oh, I have to go back to, the 60s or 70s to find those movies, those gems, those 4 or 5 star movies. No, they still exist.
They do.
With Kurosawa. Yeah,
well, I think with this category too, and I brought this category up. I did put this one off to the very last minute. I think we're thinking along the same lines that I'm definitely going to pick an international modern film because a lot of the American made stuff is just like The Strangers and shit.
Yeah. And I'm not going back to that. Well,
yeah. So I had initially picked Here Comes the Devil, which I think you watched later on in this, maybe for your sake.
Yes, I did.
But I never got around to it. So I was like, okay. And I did watch The New Frankenstein a couple nights ago, but I'm not going to cover that.
Wait, what did you think? Just curious.
I gave it 3 stars because it looks cool. There's a lot of CGI, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of. I liked the first half. I did not like the second half.
Okay. I feel like Del Toro does that. Like it's always like.
I think he just needs to narrow it down. Like I love that he wants to make these sprawling epics. You know, these 2.5 hour movies, but this thing would, I think, have been badass if it was 140 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, take out some of the stuff with the creature that I wasn't a big fan of.
Sure.
Just take out the stuff I didn't like. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate him as a fan, but a lot of his movies, I'm like, they're pretty.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the set design, the actual set design, not the CGI sets that you can tell that which are which. Are fucking amazing.
Okay.
Costume design looks great. But I'm not going to talk about Frankenstein.
I just made
a lot of people are loving it. So yeah, I'm glad people are liking it. I want Del Toro to keep making movies like this for sure. I'm picking a mystery thriller. It's kind of a cheat. It doesn't really have a horror tag, but it's a psychological thriller. And I watched this a couple of weeks ago. Technically a November watch, but I loved it. So I'm talking about it. It's a South Korean thriller called The Vanished from 2018.
Okay.
Directed by Lee Chung-hee. And this is actually a movie that I probably put in my watch list when it was released in 2018. It's been sitting there for that long. It's an adaptation of a script by Oriol Paulo, who I'm pretty sure I've talked about on the podcast. He wrote and directed The Invisible Guest, which I loved.
Oh, okay. Saw
that at Fantastic Fest when it premiered. And this is an adaptation of a film that he wrote and directed called The Body. He's a Spanish director from Spain. It's essentially about a woman who was murdered and her corpse ends up disappearing from the morgue and her husband is suspect number 1. And there are like so many amazing twists and turns. Like every Paulo script and film that I've seen before, this guy just he catches me off guard like any other script writer that I've consistently watched. To me, he's like a modern Spanish kind of Hitchcock. It's just, there's a lot. It's very modern though. It's very like, you know, there's a lot of cell phones involved. You know, it's definitely the 21st century.
Okay.
The cast is awesome. The pacing, it's an hour 40. It's long, but I never felt it. It all takes place in a 6-hour period, so it feels almost like real time. Awesome sound design, has kind of an old school thriller, original score. But like these are the 21st century horror thrillers that I can get behind. Like you were saying with Pulse, these are totally my cup of tea. There are some questionable, arguably unrealistic decisions and situations that happen which are required to move this thing along. I can overlook those when at least leads to a very satisfying finale and twist that I never see coming, which this movie does. Totally recommend it. It's on Tubi. It was recently added because I've had it in my watch list forever and it was never on streaming services. So check it out.
You know what's sad is that movie has like 2,500 views on Letterboxd. The Vanished from 2020, directed by Peter Facinelli, has over 12,000 views. People.
That seems about right.
Let's figure out our priorities here. Should we? Shall we?
Shan't
we?
Day 6, Slasher. I'm picking Phantom of Hollywood.
Okay.
It's a cheat pick.
That's
Go
fair.
listen to it. Listen to the wild way Jack Cassidy passed away in real life. It's a fun one.
That's fair. My slasher pick is one that I'm also going to point you to in episode 4, but that's again my guest spot I did with Sam Deegan. That's we talked about Open House from 1987. This is about someone who's killing female real estate agents because he doesn't like rich people. It's the same director as Hack-O-Lantern. Adrienne Barbeau is in this. I was pretty lukewarm on this one when I watched it, but you can hear Sam and I talk about this one. I know Adam really likes this one, but I wasn't super hot on it. But it has a phone element to it, hence why we talked about it in the episode. But I don't know where this was. Tubi, YouTube. It's out. I think it was on YouTube. Yeah, Open House 1987. It's fine. All right, day 7 is Stelvio Cipriani. I watched The Dream of Another from 1981. This is on, it's the last TV movie that's on the Devil's Game disc from Severin. That's the one with like all of the, there's like 6 TV movies on there. This is the last one. The star of that disc is Venus of Ilse by Mario Bava. That was technically his last film. So it's worth picking up for that alone. But this one's actually directed by a woman, Giovanna Gagliardi, I think. This is based on the H.G. Wells short story, The Story of the Late Mr. Elvisham, which is about a young medical student who is offered the estate of an old philosopher on the condition that he formally become his heir by changing his last name to his. So he's like, hey, you can have all my money, but you got to change your last name to mine. I won't spoil the outcome for anyone who hasn't seen this, which is basically everyone, because this only had like 50 logs on Letterboxd. Or anyone who's read the story, you know how it ends. This has a very, very sparse soundstage setting, but not much is really needed for it anyway. So it didn't really bother me that it felt like a stage play. Overall, I think it was good. Not entirely memorable. The Cipriani score, though, is beautiful. There's wind instruments, harp, piano, very soothing, very fitting. I really enjoyed this one.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you for Cipriani?
My Cipriani pick is Birds of Prey. 1987, another Mexican horror. Rene Cardona Jr. is the director. This thing cold opens with a couple who are hang gliding and just having the best day ever. It's just like the coolest date, like right over the beaches, and these hawks start attacking them midair. It's a very cool idea, but it takes about 5 minutes of setup of them enjoying themselves, and then it's like 5 minutes of the bird attacks, and then you get your credits, and that's kind of the MO of these Cardona Junior jams. This is an hour 40. Very cool ideas presented in scenes that just go on too long, which I don't mind really. If you know Cardona Jr., you kind of expect this. He has, Bermuda Triangle, which is super slow. I love Cyclone, which is like over 2 hours long, but it is like this. It's like, here's a great idea, and let's just fucking bury it in the ground, for 20 minutes. Like, yeah. So this one's okay. In this one we follow this extremely boring journalist and her cameraman who begin putting all these bird attacks that are happening all over the world. They're putting them all together and realize something's up. And they start interviewing the least interesting people in the universe who are experiencing these attacks. Think The Prey with killer birds. There's a lot of nature shot, a lot of birds just sitting there, a lot of birds taking flight. A lot of birds flying in the air, just, probably get 40 minutes of all that. I did love, there was a bird shrieking sound effect that they use over and over again throughout this thing. And it's like a hawk, it's like, but they use it when showing pigeons attacking people. I'm like, love this. I was also a little upset because they show so many child death fake out scenes.
Yeah, I remember that when I watched this. I think it's in one of the Vinegar Syndrome sets.
Yeah, it's probably in one of the Cardona, the one like his natural disaster. It's just like random shots of kids running through birds in slow motion. I'm like, here it goes.
So close.
This is a 5-minute scene. It's got to end with something good. It does have a great score. Again, Cipriani is the reason for this pick, and that makes it worth it. It reminded me of Prince of Darkness, Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. Very doomy and tense. I'd give the score definitely a higher rating than I did the film. But yeah, I do love Cardona Jr. Okay, day 8, physical media. I picked up Bleeding Skulls: The Other Dimension. The Other Dimension in the films of Fabio Salerno.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I watched The Other Dimension. It's a 1992 horror anthology that Salerno made, very low budget DIY. Perfect fit for a Bleeding Skull release. I'll just go over the segments real quick. First segment's called Delirium, about a guy obsessing over a girlfriend who recently dumped him. He ends up going to Milan and plans to drug her and kidnap her. But she has a secret, which I will not reveal. Ooh. Can you guess it? I mean, when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, I know who she is. But okay, second segment is called Mortal Instinct. The first segment was good because it was short and quick, sweet. I was like, okay, this should be interesting. The second one called Mortal Instinct. This one had a dedication screen when it opened up. Quote, dedicated to the sleazy boys and the women who love them.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah. But again, this is about a woman who leaves her boyfriend. He goes back to her ex, and the brokenhearted new boyfriend practices black magic. So he gets these voodoo dolls of her and her new boyfriend. And he starts doing these black magics. Great practical effects, if not unintentionally humorous. But I started seeing a pattern. Like, okay, there's a lot of ex-girlfriends here. This Salerno's going through it. And then the third is very long. The third segment called Life and Death. The first two segments kind of fly by, and I'm like, this is pretty fun. Good practical effects. This one is once again about a girl breaking up with her boyfriend to date some filmmaker. And, when they're breaking up, they get in a huge fight. Days later, he goes to her place to bring back all her stuff. And he walks into her place and she's dead by apparent suicide. Mm-hmm. So he ends up staying with her. He sleeps with her. You get a little necrophilia, which we always like. Yeah. He begins hearing her voice telling him to cut her up and eat her so that they can be together forever. And he starts cooking up her leg on the stove while watching on TV is Dario Argento's Inferno.
Sick.
I was like, this is cool. But all the stories are just bizarre and very, to me, clearly like a heartbroken teenager. It feels like a heartbroken teenager, not even in film school, just at home with his camcorder. And he's like, I'm going to make these films and she's going to love me again. And I don't know. It's all very, it's a washed out 16 millimeter film. So it looks cool. The orange skies, the blue lit rooms, very otherworldly, very other dimension. The dance. But I wasn't, blown away by this. I want to check out his other films because, Bleeding Skull puts out a lot of fun stuff. These are fun. I think they're worth the watch, but I've heard some of his other films are even better. His standalone non-anthology stuff.
Okay.
And I want to see if they don't involve an ex-girlfriend.
All right. So my physical media pick was another Todd Browning movie. So we have that Criterion set with Freaks and The Unknown. And the other one is The Mystic from 1925. So that was my pick for this category. I like this one a lot. I didn't like it as much as The Unknown. This is about a con man named Michael Nash. He recruits Zara, who's a phony psychic from a Hungarian carnival. So he brings her father, and this other guy over to New York so that they can start, fleecing high society folks. So there's some really cool scenes in this, like the seance segment where the whole background is black and you can see the ghost and kind of the tricks and how they do all of this. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot less time spent in the carnival setting than Freaks or The Unknown, but I don't think that's a bad thing here at all. This is kind of like a fish out of water, but also them succeeding in that environment. I think just the whole set, this whole Todd Browning set from Criterion is great. Anyone who doesn't have it should pick it up. I think the Criterion Barnes & Noble sale is actually going on right now, so
I feel like it's always going on.
Yeah, well, they had the flash sale last month, and now they've got the Barnes & Noble, which they have twice a year. So they have that one going on, I think, through the beginning of December. So if you have the means, I definitely recommend this one, picking up the set, because I think all the movies in it are great. Then we have our made for TV category. This is another favorite, and I picked The Phantom of Hollywood for this one. And like Lance said, go back and listen to our episode on that one.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
My made for TV movie is Paperman from 1971. This is directed by Walter Grayman, if I'm saying it right. He directed Are You Alone in the House and Lady in a Cage.
Okay.
This is about a college kid who, well, it's about a bunch of college kid, but it starts off with this college kid who one day checks his mailbox and he receives an envelope in his box addressed to a Henry Norman, which isn't him. And he can tell by feeling it through and looking at, who it's from, that there's a credit card in there. So he's like, fuck yeah. So, him and his 3 other college friends, they begin using the card, just racking up all this debt, this credit or debt. When the credit card company starts asking questions, they ask Dean Stockwell, who plays this computer genius who's like kind of an intern at the campus or something. He kind of works there, but he might have been a student. I couldn't tell. But they want him to log into the supercomputer, which they call the Almighty Brain. This is 1971, to create a real Henry Norman to fool the credit card company, create this real profile. So he does this, then he begins dating one of the girls, and one of the other guys starts getting real jealous. So everybody who's using the card starts getting murdered off, and he becomes the prime suspect because people think like, oh, okay, he's like the old smart guy and he's dating the young girl. He's got to be a suspect. So is he killing him? Is it the real Henry Norman out there? Maybe it's the computer itself. I don't know. Watch this thing and figure it out. But what really makes it entertaining is how outdated everything is. Again, this is 1971. The computer language is fucking funny to watch, and how loud and big everything is.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop.
Yeah, it's more like a...
Oh, yeah. Oh, Piper did not like that.
The characters are just poorly written. They change on a dime, which is annoying, but still fun as hell to watch. Mm-hmm. The mystery is it's strong enough to keep you invested, which it did for me. Also has an amazing dummy drop.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, The Paperman, it was okay. Dean Stockwell's, he's good in it. He's fine. It's a made-for-TV movie for the 70s. We love him, but this one fell a little flat. Day 10, right? Yeah, The Sweetest Taboo. Mm-hmm. So this is a bit of a cheat for me because I haven't watched it yet. So when I created my Horror Gives Back list, my pick was Aunt Alejandra.
Oh, okay.
And this was before you announced the No Rules November pick.
Okay.
So I'm just going to watch this, maybe today, if I ever get home.
I mean, if you had watched it, you would just say, "Wait for our next episode to hear my thoughts." Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's fine.
Yeah, next episode I will be talking about my Sweetest Taboo pick.
All right. So my Sweetest Taboo pick, and I had plenty to choose from because I got a big chunk that I need to get through for Volume 2. I wouldn't say I chose poorly, but I mean I could have chosen better.
But it's a child death.
Yeah, I know. I picked a 2023 movie, though. I know. I had to watch it, so,
I know.
All right, so this was No One Will Save You from 2023. It's about this girl, Bryn. I'm guessing she's like mid-20s. She lives alone in my dream house. If anyone's seen this movie, you've seen this house, that's what I want. All right, so she keeps herself busy with crafts and hobbies. The people in the town refuse to speak to her because of an incident that happened years earlier, which earned this movie a place in The Sweetest Taboo. So the only solution to her regaining their trust and having a social life is apparently an alien invasion. This movie got a lot of attention because it has you could call it a gimmick, where there's no dialogue in this. And it makes sense for the movie because she lives by herself. She doesn't have a pet, which, selfish. Like, you've got a huge fucking house. Like, get some animals.
Yeah, she could have some sort of medical condition.
They then establish that. Why don't you have animals? It's because I have severe allergies or compromised immune system. What fucking ever. No animals with a big house like that's fucking waste. Anywho, I was fine with the gimmick. I didn't actually notice it until she screamed on the bus. I was like, oh shit, wait, there hasn't been any dialogue in this, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't, I try not to read reviews before I watch something. Like I said, it works in this situation because she doesn't have anyone to talk to. Some people might argue that she would at least have some kind of internal dialogue, but I don't think that's needed here. I guess it does do a good job of showing and not telling in that way. So there's something nice I can say about a modern horror movie.
Nice.
I guess, I don't know. If she had a cat, she would have someone to talk to, like I said. A dog, I guess, I don't think a dog would work, because then she would have had something to save her from the aliens,
Oh, so there's aliens.
There's actual aliens in this, and they destroy that beautiful, beautiful home. So what doesn't work for me, and skip ahead if you don't want this movie spoiled for you. What doesn't work for me is that the aliens end up sparing her. Like they're basically lobotomizing everyone and like taking, like they attach these things to you. Like there's this thing in like your throat here where, and like that's the aliens are like the people now. So they're basically just walking around like zombies kind of thing.
Okay.
They spare her from this because they scan her brain. They see her trauma, the thing that happened years ago with the dead kid that caused her to like, you know, no one talks to her anymore. And oh, I got trauma. The aliens spare her for that reason. Like, and we're also supposed to believe that she was able to, there's the thing in the throat. We're supposed to be able to believe that she stuck her hand down her throat and pulled it out because she gets one in her at one point.
Oh.
But after like she's able to pull it out, then the aliens like suck her up in the ship. They scan her brain and they're like, "You're cool." And then they drop her back off. And then she gets to live in this town where now she gets along with everyone because they're all fucking lobotomized.
This sounds terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I did see the actress though. She's good. She was the star in Booksmart. Is that what that was called?
Okay. I didn't see Booksmart. No. Anyway, I want to know where this house is and who wants to give me money to buy it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's destroyed.
In the movie, it was destroyed.
Okay. I mean, movies are real. Oh, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's a lease and they have a no fucking pet policy. Maybe that explains it.
No, she owns the home. Her mom died. That's her other trauma. So, like, it's her mom's house, and she's.
Maybe the aliens spare her because they're like, this bitch does not has any pets. What a fucking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think I'll watch that one.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. All right. So next category is 1970s. I watched Lovely Dead Me. Listen to our last episode.
Hey, I watched Love Me Deadly too. Yeah, you listen to it, learn the acronym CCDTF, right? It's a fun one, I guarantee. You might even get it tattooed on your arm or something. Yeah, so that was my 1970s pick. For day 12, it's Animals Attack. 1940s, The Devil Bat. Directed by Jean Yarbrough, who went on to direct She Wolf of London, The Brute Man, starring Rondo Hatton. And he also directed, I think this was an old Horror Gives Back pick I covered, Hillbillies in a Haunted House.
Yeah, I know you specifically remember you talking about that one.
I rated that way higher than I should have. But that had Lon Chaney Jr. in it, Basil Rathbone, John Carradine. Great cast. Terrible movie. A lot of singing. But for Devil Bat, Bela Lugosi plays a doctor who the village sees as a very kind man, and they love him. He's a great doctor, but he's secretly creating a giant bat in his home that will attack these people wearing a scent that he also created. Apparently, he makes money on the side for a local cosmetic firm and creates this aftershave perfume. While I guess he's a doctor, but I don't know. But, it's Lugosi. He plays a mad doctor very well, mainly because the character, again, I felt was so poorly written. He hates everybody for no real reason. I can't understand why he hates everybody. It's implied that he doesn't make enough money, but, it's kind of poorly written. But he starts sicking these giant bats on the rich family members around the village. A bat kills the head of the cosmetic company's son. And a reporter is sent in from the big city to investigate because everybody thinks this is murder. Of course, they call Dr. Lugosi to view the bodies, and it doesn't make sense again because he immediately is like, yeah, a giant animal must have done that. I'm like, dude, come on, like lay low. What are you doing here? But apparently, unknowingly, the company releases this aftershave, so the bat starts killing more people wearing it. But what's funny is Bella does kind of zero in and target some people. So he gives them this perfume. They call it a lotion, but it's like an aftershave. He gives it to his next victim, and they recycle this joke like 5 times throughout the movie. It's like, it's always at night, and he's all, would you like, some lotion for, they're like, oh, sure. He's all, it's a test for a cosmetic. And they always say, thanks so much. Good night, doctor. And instead of him saying, good night right back, it gets real, dramatic in tone. And he's all, goodbye, Mr. Layton. It's just over and over again. By the 5th time, the third time I laughed. The fourth time I was a little annoyed. By the fifth time I was like, come on, this is too cheesy. Fake bats though, great. They're giant. They're huge. They're like people size. So when they attack, they like just land on people and they fall. They also scream like the chicken lady from Kids in the Hall. It is loud. And there's some moments where they scream for like 5 seconds. It's terrible. There's this one scene where a guy asks, he hears it and he's like, what's that shrieking sound? And another casually answers, oh, just some night noise.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome poster. Probably more fun to look at than the movie, unfortunately, but it's only 68 minutes. So you could do a lot worse. I think I brought this up in the Fatal Exposure episode where I read that apparently there's a 2020 sequel, a very low budget sequel to this made with Tina Kraus is in the cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to seek that out and watch
that. So speaking of awesome posters, but not so awesome movies, my Animal Attack movie was Bigfoot from 1970. Okay, so the tagline that's on the poster is Bigfoot breeds with anything.
Oh, shit.
And then he's holding a motorcycle over his head and there's a woman tied to a pole in the background. I want this one sheet.
Oh, yeah, that's badass.
But so the movie itself, though, it's about a family of horny Bigfoots, big feet, whatever. They kidnap women and only John Carradine and Chris Mitchum can save them. So basically, these women are definitely getting screwed by Bigfoot, big feets, big feets.
Fetuses.
I mean, the premise is great, but it's not as fun as it sounds or should be. There's a terrible copy on Tubi, like a squinting copy. But the monsters, the men in ape suits, I guess, look fun. One of them fights a bear. I don't know. It's just, I wish I had a better copy of it. Maybe like I would definitely give it another chance if I had a better copy of this. I think it's very kind of similar to Bill Grafay's Whiskey Mountain.
Oh, okay.
But not nearly as charming.
Right. It doesn't have a great final freeze shot.
No, or it doesn't have a great theme song either. And it's just, got the cast, it's got the like the fucking poster.
That poster's amazing. I love this quote. The most realistic, horrifying film ever.
Yeah. Breeds with anything. So yeah, Bigfoot 1970. If you've got an amazing copy of it, maybe you can tell me if it's better than I think it is. And maybe share that with me. All right. And then South Korea, my pick. I watched quite a few 20th century movies. This Horror Gives Back. I'm not going to do that again next year. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That's my goal.
If I can help it. All right. So I watched The Fifth Thoracic Vertebra from 2022, 65 minutes long. This is about a creature that grows inside a mattress from the mold that's on it, and it steals vertebra from the numerous people who use the mattress over the years. So it's kind of like Slacker in the way that we're not following one person or group throughout the film, but more like we're following the mattress, essentially. So we're watching it through the point of view of the mattress creature. And it's a sort of voyeuristic look into life, love, and death. There's some gore in it, but it's very much art house horror. If that's your bag, if that's what you're looking for. And it's 65 minutes, so you're not committing yourself to something significant. And I thought it was interesting. So I guess it would be kind of like Slacker meets Rubber in a way. I know there's some haters of Rubber. I get it, but it's kind of like that in a way.
No deathbed similarities? Yeah,
you could give it that too, I think. But Deathbed just kind of like steals the entire person. This one is more like the mattress travels all over the city kind of thing. So yeah, I mean,
that
Deathbed.
Sounds interesting.
I liked it. I think it was on. It's one of the
Tubi, looks like.
Okay, yeah. What about you, South Korea?
South Korea, this was a major blind spot for me, The Wailing. from 2016. I'd never watched it. I think most listeners have already seen it, but it's about a Japanese man who arrives in a small South Korean village. Weird things start happening. People are going crazy, murdering their own family members, acting very strange. And the police are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They kind of believe at first it's an infection from mushrooms, but then it turns into like this possession mystery. And one of the cops' daughters starts showing symptoms, and it essentially turns into a South Korean exorcist. I loved it. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite of the months for sure. This was a long one too. This was almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I typically stay away from long Horror Gives Back picks, but this one called to me. It does have like a battle of wizards, or they're shamans in this. It's it felt very kind of third act in a Shaw Brothers horror. It kind of happens in the middle of the movie. A lot of comedy kind of pops up in this, but it's presented in a realistic manner, not heavily goofy or anything, just kind of real talk that friends, close friends would do even in like heartbreaking or tense situations.
I feel like South Korean horror does that really well.
It's very real, like the dialogue, even though maybe the subtitles are a little inaccurate, but the performances, it's some of the best I've seen for sure. Yeah, one of my favorites, beautifully shot. Majority of the film takes place outside, so you get a lot of forests and kind of these busted shacks, usually with a hard rain going on. Just shot really well. I'm glad I finally checked this off my list.
Nice.
Day 14, Unsung Horrors Rule. I watched Peter B. Good's masterpiece, Fatal Exposure.
Me too.
Hey!
We have a whole episode about it, and you should go listen to that. Watch the movie and then listen to the episode. Next category, day 15, halfway there.
Yeah.
Is J&B, the disgusting whiskey that makes its way into so many movies. I finally watched Duccio Tessari's Puzzle from 1974. I love Luke Miranda, and so I was glad to finally watch this. There's a dog in it that's named Whiskey, so it's very fitting for this category. The dog dies, unfortunately. It happens halfway through, so I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. But I bring that up because the dog's death is the kid Luca's fault. Like Luca, this little boy who is friends with Luke Miranda's wife, he's got the dog on a leash on the beach. He lets it off leash. Don't let your dogs off fucking leash. Like that's the kid's fault. That dog is dead. All right. So Luke Miranda, he plays Edward/Ted. He's an amnesiac who's trying to put the pieces of his life back together, hence the title. And basically he travels back to another city and he finds his wife, but then all these people keep popping up and are like, hey, where are the drugs? Hey, where's the money? Like all of this other stuff happening with it. So it's a giallo, so I don't want to give away too much about it, but it didn't quite scratch the itch of a giallo that I was looking for. It's much more relationship mystery focused than murder. But I mean, it does have a beautiful setting, but it doesn't really have any like the sort of stylistic flourishes that you would kind of point to in some of like
my pick. That I'll talk.
Okay. But the end, she busts out the chainsaw in this. Like, I appreciate the chainsaw ending. So I will say, like, I did enjoy it quite a bit. It's not a traditional giallo, but I think that kind of makes it stand out in a way. When it comes to Duccio Tessari, I still like big guns. I still think that's his best by far. And I like A Bloodstained Butterfly a little bit more than this one. But I'm going to finally get to his Ringo movies next year. You've seen A Pistol for Ringo, and your review said this is a top 5 Christmas movie. So would you recommend I watch it at Christmas?
Yeah, you can watch it anytime. I mean, usually I'm a little joking in my
I know
reviews,
you are.
But yeah,
I didn't know if it was actually a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
Okay. I didn't know if it was also something like you just watched it at your in-laws' house, so it happened to be on.
No, I don't think I even watched that in the in-laws' house.
Okay.
Yeah, that was something I probably put on Tubi or something, or YouTube at home.
All right. What's your, would you raise a glass to for this category?
For J&B, this was perfect timing because I went to a theater. I went to the Alamo Drafthouse Weird Wednesday. and watched this on October 15th, the perfect day. And it was In the Folds of the Flesh.
I love this movie.
From 1970. Director of one of our earlier episodes, Blood Delirium, Sergio Bergonzelli. Yeah, I watched this. Like I said, it was perfect timing. Like day 15, most of these watches I watch out of order, not even on the actual date. This one fit perfect. It's also very fitting for a weird Wednesday because it is weird as fuck. Mondo Macabro released this, I guess not too long on Blue, and Sam Deegan did the commentary.
Yeah.
And there was a note that she begins her commentary with, it, quote, defies convention as well as logic at nearly every turn. Yeah. And that's exactly right. Yeah, and since this was programmed and presented by Laird Jimenez, I'm just going to read his Letterboxd review. Perfect. And then be done with it, right? I might have more to say, but...
Okay.
It's a madhouse, tasteless. Wait till you see how they finally show full frontal nudity. Hysterical, absurd, has editing rhythms that, by design or not, knock you for a loop. Think Devil's Story or Boarding House. Constant cutaways to caged vultures, looping snap zooms, kaleidoscopes. This is way more Spider Baby / Undertaker and his pals, blackly comedic than the Bava, Hitchcock, Christie, Wallace influenced giallo wave it gets lumped into, though I'm eternally grateful to Criterion Channel for including it in their giallo collection. Throw it in the middle of a triple feature with Orgasmo and Pieces, and ascend to some sort of sleazy camp nirvana. Someone else can sit with this movie and parse what's parody and what's just shoddy writing and filmmaking. I'm just going to enjoy getting the carpet yanked out from under me. And yeah, this thing's very sleazy, very melodramatic, great gore, kills. Of course, it has J&B, a little bit of incest.
Yep.
It has arguably these very uncomfortable, maybe unnecessary flashback scenes of Nazi death camps. So bizarre. I loved it. One of the best Weird Wednesdays I've been. I mean, I don't go to Weird Wednesday that much at all. I don't go to Terror Tuesdays that much at all. But this was one of the most fun I've had in a while in a theater.
Yeah. I wanted to go to this one, but I was like, I've seen it and busy this month. And I saw you were going. So I was like, all right, well, Lance can represent. But I love this movie.
Yeah, like Puzzle. I mean, it doesn't feel like that much of a giallo. No. I mean, the J&B is obviously there. It's Italian, yada, yada, yada. But this thing is just on its own bizarre. It's
100%,
great.
Yeah.
Day 16, still me, right?
Yep, 90s.
1990s, one of my favorite categories. Another Mexican horror. Diabolical Inheritance from 1994. I'm really going on with these little people dressed as clowns. Okay, so a man's aunt dies and he inherits her house and estate, and he and his wife move from New York to live in this house. And she quickly finds out that they're pregnant, and then she finds his old aunt's favorite doll from when she was a kid. The husband finds a job in this new town. He has to go on a business trip, and the doll starts showing up on its own throughout the house, knocking shit over, freaking the woman out, who's now very pregnant. She starts locking the doll in pantries. It randomly pops out, and we finally get to see the little person playing this creepy clown doll. She falls, or I guess she's pushed down the stairs by the doll and dies, but the baby survives. 6 years later, the man marries who I think is his secretary. I mean, this sounds like a spoiler, but all this happens like in the first 20 minutes of this thing. It moves at breakneck speed. The son starts playing with this clown doll as he gets older. The new young wife starts freaking out about the doll, so she takes it and tosses it in the lake. You can kind of guess what starts happening, right?
Yeah.
People on Letterboxd, they call this slow and boring.
How dare you, people?
It covers like 10 years without any explanation. So in that regard, it's very fast. Technically, it moves very fast. I definitely get the slow argument, though. But I clicked with the pacing right away. I was like, here we go. It has a crazy ass score that it's almost like Danny Elfman sounding, just very whimsical.
Yeah.
Also has two of the best dummy drops I've probably ever seen. So I will say the end credits are fucking hilarious. It's a freeze frame of the clown doll, his face. He's smiling real big. and the credits are rolling, and it's just him cackling, just laughing for like 3 minutes.
Oh, man.
But his face is it's like it's not like a looped laughing. It's like the voice actor was probably doing that for like 3 minutes.
Thanks.
Love it.
All right, 1990s. So I originally I went through a few picks for this one. I changed my list quite a few times for this one. I tried watching some other like low budget movies, and my brain just, for whatever reason, like this time would not get on that frequency. So I just went for some low hanging fruit since I have never seen this. I watched Scream 2 from 1997.
Oh, wow.
I just never got around to seeing it. I saw the first one in theater. I saw the reboot one. I don't know what number people consider that. I saw that one by accident because I got it. I do like preview new movies occasionally thing. And this one was like an in theater one. So I went and saw it for that. And I was like, oh, it's a new Scream movie. And like the whole audience was like so excited. And I was sitting there with my Diet Coke, just like, all right. So yeah, I'd never seen Scream 2. It's fine. It's a Scream movie. I don't know. I love Wes Craven, but these movies sort of mark that turning point in the 90s of horror movies becoming overly polished and everyone just being super attractive. And it's just not something I want to watch anymore. Like this is like that line, like where it crossed. Like my sort of cutoff point, I think I generally tell people, is Candyman. And like after that, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, and I've never really given it much thought, but it just kind of popped in my head. It's also, I've never been a huge fan. I think Scream 1's a lot of fun. Wes Craven is reinventing horror again.
Yeah.
But, I haven't been like sucked in as much as a lot of my friends are with the Scream franchise. But I almost feel like Scream is also when the 80s nostalgia started popping up in movies. Like, because they reference all the old, horror tropes and stuff. And I feel like people really latched on and kept going with that type of formula.
And they've taken it to like another level. And it's like now we're nostalgic for 90s. And soon we're going to be now like with no shade on Joe and his programming for Terror Tuesday, but it's become very heavy on aughts horror, like the early 2000s. And I'm like, those movies are ugly as fuck. They're all like fucking sepia tinged garbage. They're ugly. And I don't like them. And he keeps programming them. And I'm like, this is why I don't go to fucking Terror Tuesday anymore.
I mean, there's some bangers for October.
A lot
like, of 35 millimeter.
He'll bring it out for October. Like he did Creepshow, and I wanted to go to that, but it was sold out.
The Fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like
House of a Thousand Corpses. I really wanted to go to that. It was the 35 millimeter print.
I don't care, but
I know.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I love Wes Craven. I agree. I think Scream is great and it reinvents it, but you're 100% right. Like it's really, this is what also started that like, hey, there's rules and hey, remember?
Yeah.
And like, it's not like we didn't know any of this stuff before, but like bringing it to the forefront and then like now all these movies feel like they have to.
Yeah. They all feel like they're trying to be the next Scream.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of modern horror, there's a lot of comedy mixed in with it. And to me, it sounds like they're trying to reinvent and try and do what Wes Craven did with Scream, and it's just like it's been done.
Yeah, but I have no aspirations to watch the rest. Apparently, Scream 3 is the worst one, according to
that's where I stopped.
Whatever.
That's the last one I've ever seen.
Okay,
I haven't seen any of. I think there's 7 at this point.
I don't know. I'm not.
7's
interested.
coming out.
I'm good. Whatever. 90s Scream 2. Check it out. I guess I'm the last person on earth who hasn't seen it. All right, birth year. I watched The Evictors from 1979. This is starring Jessica Harper and Michael Parks, who is not playing a scumbag in this, which is rare for him. So they play Ruth and Ben Watkins. They move into a new house on the outskirts of a small Louisiana town during World War II. Their real estate agent, Jake Rudd, played by Vic Morrow, he fails to tell them about like this long history of people dying under mysterious circumstances at the home. So soon Ruth Jessica Harper's character, she starts experiencing all these really strange occurrences. There's like a person lingering around their house and like trying to break in. And what I really appreciated about it was that there was no gaslighting in this. Like she would see someone at the window, freak out, run and go get her husband, bring him back. And there were actually like mud footprints out there. So he was like, oh shit. Nice. So there was no like, sure, Jan, there was none of that happening.
That's refreshing.
Yeah. So this is kind of it's a really slow Southern horror. This is another one that's really great for a lazy Sunday afternoon. I watched this at the beginning of November, and this was sort of, I think I actually watched it on November 1st, but perfect as a come down for a lazy day after Halloween kind of movie. Nice. Where it's not like really, there is some gore in it. There's some kills in it, but nothing overly scary. Just perfect for a certain mood. I did really like this one.
Yeah, when I see this one logged on Letterboxd just randomly, I'm always intrigued by the poster.
Yeah.
It's a cool poster.
Yeah, it's a great poster. It doesn't really fit the movie. It's trying to make it something that it's not, but it's still really good. I liked it. So I think this was on YouTube.
Nice. Okay, Birth Year for me is a Mexican Western with a horror genre tag. Mm-hmm. Hot Snakes.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Fernando Duran Rojas. About a guy named Emiliano who he's a bounty hunter. He's after a wanted man named Jenkins who, he just murders and rapes wherever he goes. Then a young waiter who Emiliano used to fuck with when he was younger. He joins the story. He begins stalking Emiliano for some unknown reasons, which we learn about in flashbacks. And about halfway through the movie, Emiliano gets his man, Jenkins, kills him, shoots him and kills him. But while he's transporting the body back to Hot Snake, Jenkins's body keeps popping up when Emilio is not looking. It's hinting at a zombie, dead coming back to life angle. And kind of the reason that we feel like it could be a zombie because there's this quote Indian named Ramona who people around Hot Snake and all the local towns mention she's a shaman who dabbles in witchcraft. Mm-hmm. So there's this element of magic going on throughout this undertone of magic and throughout this Western, which is kind of the horror element, other than him might be in a zombie. I was definitely in the mood for this when I watched it. Great squibs, great gore. Beautiful Mexican deserts and rough terrain. It looks like it was filmed in autumn or early winter because there's a lot of, you could see their breath in a lot of scenes. A fantastic original score by a gentleman named Nacho Mendez, who kind of puts together this great original Western theme. Very Morricone sounding, kind of, sounds like a popular spaghetti Western, but it's his own. It's unique in a weird way. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Does have a lot of real snakes getting blown apart, which is kind of, you kind of expect that when putting on any movie from the 70s.
Yeah.
Especially a horror movie or Western. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, Hot Snakes. I think this one was on Tubi as well, but it was fun.
I think, who put this one out? Either Vinegar Syndrome or Severin. One of them put it out.
Yeah, it has that orange cover art. That was from the box set, I think. Mm-hmm. There was another...
Yeah, there's two on it. I think it's double-sided. I don't remember. But I think it's Vinegar.
Okay, day 18, Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
I already brought this up. Dr. Satan from 1966. More Mexican horror for me. Directed by Miguel Moreda. Very Reanimator. Concerning an injection of potion made by Dr. Satan. This is a different formula from the sequel that Yen Lei was doing. But it's injected in the back of the neck and it brings the dead back to life. And these zombies come back. They don't know they're dead, but all they know is that they follow the commands of Dr. Satan. And they're like beautiful women, by the way, all the zombies. The whole premise is pretty silly. Dr. Satan makes these zombies to protect him from the police as he runs a counterfeit money scheme with other Satanists. Goofy as fuck. I had a lot of fun with it, though. Even though if we, the viewer, know the mystery up front with the zombies and we're watching the police trying to figure out what we've already seen. They see a lot of people who they thought were dead are walking around. The cast has great chemistry, especially the main detective and his girlfriend / secretary. But there's this great scene of one of Dr. Satan's zombies getting shot, and he sews it up. It's like a scene from Rambo, and it's like real quick scene, but it's pretty good practical effects for the mid '60s. A lot of reviews of this being more spy thriller than horror, and I already said like there's a counterfeit, like which I understand because there's like safe cracking. There's a James Bond style bracelets with tracking signals in it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of horror in it. There's a lot of murder, a lot of reanimating zombies. Satan himself makes an appearance.
Oh, good for him.
Pops up because Dr. Satan needs to ask Satan for permission when he wants to bring a dead person back to life. He has to get approval to take the soul. And Satan looks amazing. He has huge wings, small horns. They never show the face. He's kind of silhouette in the back. At first, it reminded me of do you remember the deviled ham, devil food logo? Remember that?
Yes.
My parents used to, where it's just like, kind of like classic, but kind of evil looking devil, like dancing around. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, what? It definitely sets up the sequel for when Dr. Satan, he's put in jail and says like, this isn't over. I'm invincible. This is an inconvenience. I truly believed him. And he ends up taking this capsule and dying and dissolving. Yep. And I was like, bring it on. Right. The actor is Dr. Satan is played by Joaquin Cordero. And he also is in the sequel as well. And he just so captivating.
All right. My Hail Satan pick. You mentioned it earlier. It's also a Sweetest Taboo movie. It's Here Comes the Devil from 2012. And I already did my write-up for it for the book, so I'm just going to read that.
Okay, cool. Spoiler.
Felix and Sol allow their two children, Sarah and Adolfo, to explore a cave on their own while their parents take a nap and get busy in the car. The children disappear but show up the next day, claiming that it was too dark for them to find their way back. In the weeks that follow, the children seem off to their parents and are getting a little too close for Sol's comfort. She and Felix think that they have figured out what horrific events happened to the children that night, but the truth turns out to be much worse. So the opening kill, which actually does tie back into the main plot, actually had me hooked. I kept wondering how it would connect, and while it was a little more simplistic than the rest of the film, I did appreciate that it wasn't just a, hey, check out this gore and exploitative sex scene. The child death is unremarkable as it happens off screen, and like much of the movie, how or even if it happened is a mystery until the end when we get a flashback and see some part of it. Viewers are left in the dark about most of what is happening and what to expect. Some of it is easy to figure out, some of it will surprise you. And I think a lot of that has to do with whom the director explicitly cited as references. If you can make it through most of the end credits song, I struggled but prevailed, you'll see his extensive list of ayuda espiritual, or spiritual help, which included David Cronenberg, Dust Devil, Nicholas Roeg, Henry James, Sergio Martino, Picnic at Hanging Rock, and The Entity, a lot of which I picked up on in hindsight, since the moments were influenced by, not references of, those people and films. I was somewhat taken out of the movie occasionally, specifically with the quick zooms that felt like they belonged in another movie, like one from Fulci, but I didn't hate myself after watching this. In fact, I gave it a little nod. So you can add another to the list of 21st century horror movies that I don't hate. That list is still heavily foreign films, though, because American directors continue to treat their audiences like morons.
Great write-up.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it hits back to a lot what we've already talked about so far.
Yeah, for sure. All right, day 19, K&B effects. A lot to choose from because you got the three people. Sometimes they work all together. Sometimes they work on their own thing. I chose the Robert Kurtzman directed The Rage from 2007. I had something else picked prior to that, and then someone in our Discord mentioned that there was a child kill in this. So, tagline for The Rage. This isn't your daddy's bird flu.
My daddy's bird flu?
Yeah, it'll make sense.
Okay.
All right, so scientist Dr. Viktor Vasilenko, played by Andrew Divoff, which most people know from Wishmaster, he experiments with a rage virus on people in his remote laboratory in the woods. One victim manages to escape, only to be devoured by vultures who continue to spread the virus. So Kurtzman saw 28 days later and decided there's not enough gore in this. There's also not enough vultures in this.
Like flesh in the fold in the flesh. So many vultures.
Yeah. He also decided that he needed to make the vultures zombie vultures.
Cool.
That's the best part of this movie, honestly. Although, like, the CG in it it's fun when they're the practical ones, but when they're CG, it's like, okay, it's not fun.
Yeah, and when you get in 21st century, especially early 2000s, like my pick,
it's rough.
You're going to get that, a mix of it.
The practical ones are fun, though. They reminded me a lot of the turkey and Thanksgiving. Like, they look exactly like that, honestly. So Reggie Bannister from Phantasm, he's in this briefly as Uncle Ben. He's the reason why this is the Sweetest Taboo pick. He kills a child in this. So Ben, he ends up getting attacked by a zombie. And it's funny because like he makes like some references to Phantasm before he gets zombified. And basically what happens is like the vultures eat the zombie flesh like once the people die, and then they become zombie vultures, and then they go around attacking people.
And they become zombies when a zombie vulture.
So yeah, it's like this circle of it. So I mean, honestly, like if it didn't have this god awful nu metal soundtrack, I might not have like outright hated it. But it was just all over it, and I hate that music so much. The gore, it's as expected with when you got Kurtzman at the helm. But I mean, honestly, at some points it became so excessive that it was like, okay, we get it. You know, I know it's a zombie film. I know it's a gore film, but like you can dial it back like a little bit here. You're losing the impact when you have it in every single scene. I don't know. Just felt like he was trying to make a point. I don't know. I appreciate his work definitely in the special effects realm, but when special effects people like, who's it, Gabe Bartolis, I think that's his name, he did like Skin Deep or something like that. Mm-hmm. Those people, they're great at what they do when it comes to effects, but when they want to make their own movie and when they have full control, it goes too far. It goes off the rails, and I lose interest because it's like they become try hard to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but had to watch it because dead kids. So, what about you for K&B?
Yeah, mine's a 2009 film, Survival of the Dead. I'd never seen Romero's last film.
Okay.
I was not a fan of Diary of the Dead. I hated it, actually. Yeah. It's the worst Romero I've ever seen. So I wasn't very excited to watch this one, but I did want to complete, this collection.
Sure.
And watch his last film. I didn't mind this one as much as I was bothered by Diary. The story wasn't that bad. The actors are absolutely terrible in this. Mm-hmm. Some of them are rolled over from Diary. But this thing is kind of full-on horror comedy. I like the idea, though, going to an island when there's a zombie outbreak, which kind of sets up. It's a great shooting location. There's some underwater zombies, which are cool to watch. And even though this is a K&B category, which you just brought up, this has a ton of bad CGI, especially the kills. It's like you get these solid makeup and practical effects, mainly for the actors when they're in their zombie makeup, but bad CGI when you show like a head explosion or a head being chopped off. There's this terrible scene where it's early on in the film, a couple of redneck hunters, they decapitated some zombies and they put their heads on stakes and stuck them in the ground. So you have these heads on stakes that are just, alive, and it's just laughable CGI. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So when you get that overshadowing any decent practical effects that you see, it's not a very good time. Greg Nicotero, he's credited as the special effects makeup consultant in this. I don't know if this actually is a K&B. It was in that list on Letterboxd. I don't know if they were entirely involved, but he was the consultant. So it was my pick. I still think Romero deserved like a huge budget for his last two Dead films. I read that he made this one Survival for $4 million, mostly considered throwaway films by a lot of people. I kind of understand that. I actually liked Land of the Dead, that he did.
I revisited it recently and I didn't hate it as much as when I first watched it.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with the original trilogy and then that comes out and you're like, what the fuck? And you know what? No, revisiting it, I was like, no, this is fine. It's fine. Like,
especially if you've seen Diary and Survival. It's like, and I'm not going to, it seems like he probably had a good time making these last two
that's all
Dead
that
films.
matters.
It is.
For Romero, that's all that matters. For everyone else, fuck right off.
100%. Yeah, that makes me happy. But yeah, this one of my least favorite of the month. We're going to day 20, Tobe Hooper.
Yes.
I watched his first feature, Eggshells, from 1971.
Okay.
This was subtitled, the film, when it was released in 1971, it was called Eggshells, An American Freak Illumination. And it's like a horror fantasy, not really strong on horror.
Okay.
It does have a horror tag, though, everywhere you look. About a young girl. She's living in this rural, conservative Texas community, and she heads to Austin for college to go to UT, University of Texas. So we get a lot of early shots of UT campus and just the Austin landmarks in the early 70s, which was like really cool to watch. And I recognize them driving down 2222, going down South Congress, going down Guadalupe. You see it all, and there's still some landmarks there, which are really cool.
We should point out, Lance said Guadalupe, and we know it's Guadalupe, but that's how everyone here pronounces it. Just like Manor, Manor, is pronounced Manor here. So Lance does know how to pronounce Guadalupe.
There's Manchac, which it was Manchaca, but they've changed it. They changed all the road signs to Menchaca.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. Austin's the worst.
It is.
But yeah, it was fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch on screen, especially in the early 70s.
Yeah. Oh, and Burnett is Burnett.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just have to clarify for folks. If you're not from Austin, just making sure you know that we know how to pronounce words most of the time. Yeah,
Guadalupe, that probably should have been explained because I'm sure people are, all my picks are like Mexican horror, and this guy, they're like, look at this fucking weddle. But yeah, no, it was cool to see it during that time. And this takes place during college, which obviously is kind of, it's a heavy period during the college during the 70s and 1970 and 71. A lot of protests. You get that Tobe Hooper filmed some real life protests on campus. Students are holding banners that say the government is violent, not us.
Mm-hmm.
Still very relevant.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much about these, I'm going to call them pretentious college kids who they all live in a house together and they think it's haunted, which it is. There is a ghost down in the basement who like sword fights by himself. And it's very interesting.
Okay.
But it's mostly them in their house talking about like communism and political and civil issues, which, can come across as pretentious, but college kids at the time during this period, it's probably very accurate. It's what they talked about, especially during this hippie generation, which this film captures. I thought it was all pretty boring, but it's presented in this chaotic way. So it's boring, but watchable in a weird sense.
Yeah.
Because Tobe Hooper, he does probably what might be like groundbreaking practical effects and experimental shots. Mm-hmm. He handled all the practical effects in this, like I could tell he probably filmed putting like ink underwater, and layering it over certain scenes. Definitely a young filmmaker at work here. Again, not really a horror movie by any means, but it does have these kind of cool, freaky looking experimental shots. I did learn that Robert Burns worked on this with Hooper.
Okay.
In fact, a lot of people in this ended up working on Texas Chainsaw Massacre with him. One of the main characters who goes full frontal in this respect, his name is Kim Henkel. He went on to write TCM with Hooper. Jerry, the bus driver from TCM, he's in this. He has a role. But yeah, I also read that Eggshells was believed to have been lost for decades, but it was found and restored to 4K, and it screened at South by Southwest in 2014. But overall, it was fine. I think most of the enjoyment I got was looking at all these old landmarks of what, was there and isn't now, or what's still there in Austin.
So my Tobe Hooper pick was originally going to be Gin from 2013. This was Tobe Hooper's last film. So very fitting. You did his first. I was going to do his last. But then Regal was doing a bunch of screenings and John was like, oh, they're doing Funhouse. You want to go see Funhouse? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to just do a rewatch.
Oh, dude. Love that movie.
I mean, this was on October 1st. So I was like, fuck yeah. And you know what? The Funhouse gets better every time I watch it. I think I have a new appreciation for it after moving to Texas, especially, and how well Hooper really captured that vibe of that sort of small town carnival. Mm-hmm. I have a one sheet of it. I've never put it up because it's just that gross.
Oh, it's the lip.
It's just mouth? The lip, mouth, and I'm just like, I don't need that. It came in a lot from an estate sale, so like I'm in that same one sheet. Like it was like an accordion file of one sheets. In that was my Dawn of the Dead one sheet. Yeah, so like that was worth the money alone right there. Maybe one day I'll track down another version. So yeah, I mean, I watched the Funhouse, but then on Tobe Hooper Day in our Discord, someone pointed out, hey, Jin has a dead baby. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. So yeah, I still watched Jin as well.
Okay.
And it's definitely, to me, a director for hire movie. Like this doesn't feel like him at all. It was basically, if you look it up on Letterboxd, you look at country, it's UAE, mm-hmm. and it's shot there too. And it's about this couple, Khalid and Salama, who 1 year after the death of their half Jin baby, they move back to the UAE. They move into this luxury apartment building that's like, that ended up being built on where Khalid was born. It's this old abandoned fishing village, but now it's this luxury high rise. And the whole place is like encased in this fog. And so they're trying to create this sense of like being cut off from the world and things like that. It just, to me, nothing really had any traces of Hooper. It, like I said, it just feels like the producers had money and they're like, hey, let's get Tobe Hooper because he's a name.
Right.
It does feel like it's got like that Poltergeist 2 vibe to it when they moved. Wait, which is the one where they moved to the high rise? Is that 3?
That's 2.
No, 2, they're still in the house because it's the creepy old dude, right? Isn't 3 when they're in the high rise? I don't know. I don't like those movies anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those.
I don't know. So like the building has...
Yeah, it's 3, you're right.
Okay. I don't know. So the building's got like some creepy gin stuff going on in it. Will Dodson, who is, he's Ryan's partner over at Someone's Favorite Productions, he co-edited a book about Tobe Hooper called American Twilight. So I was like, I'm going to go read the essay on this movie in particular. And it was this and 2 other movies in that chapter that the authors were writing about. It's Anne Golden and Christopher Woofter. They did their best to make a case for Gin. Their essay is called Unsettled Architecture and Avant-Garde Strategies in Tobe Hooper's Down Friday Street, Toolbox Murders, and Gin. So they focus on the building as a character itself, the merging of flesh and architecture, the fog that I mentioned that envelops this luxury building as a way to sort of disorient the characters and the audience. And I'm not saying those aspects aren't true. Like, yeah, that the building is a character, the fog is, creating disorientation. But I think those authors they're giving too much credit to those elements as a way to make a case for the film. And I feel like some people try to do that with certain directors where they're like, even when it's very clear that Hooper was like given a pile of money to like, here, direct this movie over in the UAE. And he's at like, it's 2013. He's at the end of his career, right. And so of course he said yes. And I don't blame him for saying yes. And sometimes a movie is just a paycheck. And sometimes we need to look at a movie from someone like Hooper, from someone like, Joe D'Amato, and
right.
whoever. Like sometimes it's just a paycheck, and I think that's all this is. They also made a point about, they concluded their essay to point out this sort of subversive political nature of the film and its place in the UAE's early film industry, which I think is kind of the only interesting thing about this movie. Not even the dead Jinn babies are interesting.
Oh, yeah, the babies, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I
think this is interesting. When looking at the crew, the original composer, B.C. Smith, does all the Barbie animated features. It's just all Barbie cartoons. Respect.
All right.
Jinn, and then going to Barbie.
It's just hard to like watch something like this and know it was their final film and that it wasn't his vision. Because at least like with
Survival, that's his script.
It's he wanted what he wanted to do, and it's like, you know what, I don't like it, but at least it was yours. It was your baby. This is what you wanted to do, and that's fine. And this, I was just like, I'm not with the authors of this.
And it's unfortunate because, and I know again, it's a paycheck. I mean, filmmakers, especially Tobe Hooper, probably didn't get paid that much for all these masterpieces he made in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of filmmakers didn't.
Yeah.
I was reading an interview though with there's an artist named Frank Quietly who does comic books. He's a comic book artist, and he's very passionate. He puts out, his detail's amazing, but he's very passionate about putting out his best work, which I respect, but it's also about a paycheck. He's basically like, you're going to get artists who are going to look at your pages and study your art for generations to come. Mm-hmm. And you want to be remembered. You want to give a service to them as well as yourself. So I do feel bad when we watch movies like this by some of our favorite directors, where it's like, it's not good, but you do have to take a step back and realize you got to make a fucking living.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that there aren't like some elements like that were his creative decisions in it, but it's like as a whole, I'm like, this is not how I want to remember Tobe Hooper. That's
like John Carpenter's Ward or something. It's like, he didn't write that. Like, he was hired to direct. Like.
Yeah. But I saw an interview with him recently, and someone was asking about what he's, trying to, like a sequel to Thing or something like that. He was just hating on everything. He was just being a curmudgeon, and I love him for that. Like, he was like, I didn't like the substance. I didn't like anything about it. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, he didn't like it because it was directed by a woman. I'm like, no, he doesn't like it because he didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
Thank you.
This was like when I first watched it, I was like, God, everybody's loving this, but I am not feeling this.
Yeah. We're just haters, Lance.
I mean,
especially me.
Yeah.
So says our 1-star review that we got on the podcast. Like, I hate everything.
Yeah, and that's what's fun. Like, it's, you can't have two of me on a podcast just like saying, check it out. I gave it 4.5 stars, and it's a shitty movie.
Yeah. All right, Tobe Hooper. Check out the Funhouse. Check out Eggshells. Also,
check out Eggshells. Yeah.
Moving on to 1960s. This is another one where I changed my pick a bunch of times. John and I actually ended up grabbing this one from We Love Video. It's Theater of Death from 1967, starring Christopher Lee, who plays Philip Darvis. So he's taken over the Theater of Death, which was previously run by his father, who disappeared. And it's literally called like Theater de Mort or something like that. So his father disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Philip steps up and is like, I'll jump in here. We're going to keep this theater running. So it's got all the actors and stuff like, yay, we're still employed. But then some of the actresses, there's a series of murders where the bodies are found completely drained of blood are occurring. So a police doctor gets involved with one of the actresses to investigate. It's okay. Lee isn't really in it quite enough. He disappears kind of halfway through the movie and then sort of comes back later. But it definitely fits the mood for the month. Like, it's a great like October watch, but if you watched it any other time of year, you'd probably be like, ugh, this honks.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because I watched it in October. I will say that much about it. It's got some fun elements, like hidden entrances and, what like crypts behind walls kind of thing. Like I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's like I said, it's good for October, but any other time of year, I'd be like, nah.
That's how Devil Bat is. There's a lot of those corridors and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely perfect for October.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, 1960s. Another Mexican horror, The Book of Stone from 1969.
Okay.
Directed by Carlos Enrique Toballado, who did Poison for the Fairies, Blacker Than the Night, Even the Wind is Afraid.
Yeah.
Basically, the best titles in Mexican horror ever. Like, I love all those titles.
Yeah.
So Marga Lopez plays Julia, a woman hired to care for a young girl whose father thinks is mentally ill. And this young girl, Sylvia, his daughter, they move to a remote house with her father and his fiance. And the father and fiance are both worried because Sylvia has been talking to a statue of a boy that's been there on the property. And she calls him Hugo. Dr. Satan himself, Joaquin Cordero, plays the father. And again, he just demands attention. He has such a booming voice, very captivating. I'm definitely under his spell. But yeah, especially here in The Book of Stone, his performance is great. All the performances are really good, even the young kids. But it's a lot of the same, which I got sick of pretty quick. Family members and caretakers are all creeped out about this statue of Hugo, but it's mostly just them talking about it. Something weird kind of happens, then they shoot down the notion that Hugo is real. Like they lose a brooch, but it's brought back to the house. And they're like, oh my God, well, it can't be Hugo. It's a statue. Just a lot of rinse and repeat stuff. It takes a full hour or so before things start getting really interesting, in my opinion. This was another hour, 40 minutes. I think this thing could have been trimmed a little bit shorter. I feel like I watched a lot of hour 40 because I've been saying that a lot lately.
Yeah.
But it does have a wonderful like Hammer House of Horrors type of ending, but it just takes so long to get there. Yeah, I mean, I overall, I think I gave it three stars, which is a lot lower than a lot of people that I follow on Letterboxd that I usually share a lot of tastes with. But yeah, just a little too slow and long for me. A little too slow and long. Okay, we're on the 22nd, South America.
Yes.
I went to Argentina with my pick.
Nice.
Blood of the Virgins from 1967. So the first 5 minutes of this, we have a young woman whose parents want to marry her off to a man that she doesn't love. She's in love with another man. And the other man just happens to be a vampire. This is the first 5 minutes. This is before this is a cold open.
Okay.
She marries the man that her parents have arranged for her. The vampire kills her new husband the night of their wedding, bites the wife, and then she's brought back from the grave as a vampire. And then you cut to these awesome animated opening credits, which I always appreciate.
Oh, I love
any
those.
type of animations. Cut to the present. We follow a group of friends who they're on a road trip, run out of gas one night in the forest, and they come across an abandoned house, which actually is the vampire's house, the old vampires. One of the guys who looked a lot like Beto O'Rourke to me. I kept seeing Beto O'Rourke. He has, the first night there, he has sex with the old vampire woman who was married off in the beginning. Then he wakes up the next morning. All his friends are gone. He's alone in the house. So the whole movie's spent trying to figure out what happened to all of them. Very, very moody movie. Again, this is probably a good example of perfect for October. But I would watch it in April because this would be a good April showers of blood. Okay. But, the music mostly takes place where there should be dialogue. So it's like, you could be learning about these characters, but I really appreciate how, I think the director was Vieira, how he just kind of has characters walking together. And, you're not really building these character, their personalities, but just making it very moody. There's just a lot of music, very minimal dialogue, probably like just a few words spoken in the first 20 minutes or so. But it is poorly edited and it becomes kind of laughable. It's just very jarring, scenes end really quick and pick up. Music, very Morricone sounding, very Hateful Eight opening theme, which I love. But then with a little bit of Reverend Horton Heat rockabilly thrown in. So yeah, very weird. And what's very weird, and it's never explained, but the vampire, he doesn't turn into a bat. He turns into a seagull.
Hell yeah.
And it's always like the same shot of the seagull when he flies away. It's like this very red tinted. It's wonderful. It's a mess. It could be an April Showers of Blood pick, maybe, because I kind of loved it. But yeah, Blood of the Virgins.
All right. So I went to Brazil, and I did not do a Coffin Joe movie.
Oh.
I watched The Seven Vampires from 1986, aka Acetes Vampiris, rather. So I didn't realize, again, I didn't check the genre, the additional genres rather on this. This is also a comedy. But
your favorite.
I know. My main issue with it was that the copy that I watched on YouTube was really bad, and the subtitles were like really hard to read sometimes and not translated very well. So I struggled with it a little bit, but it has so many great ingredients in it that are super fun. The opening of it has Alfred Hitchcock, literally from his Alfred Hitchcock Hour, dubbed to intro the film. So like they just took Alfred Hitchcock and they just dubbed over him to intro the film. It was laughable and hilarious. So basically the film it's about like this it's hard to say, like you're supposed to be following a detective and his secretary who are investigating a murder, but there's also cops that are investigating, but that's not even really where the movie starts. So it starts at a shipyard, and this guy receives a plant from, I think from like Africa or something like that. He takes the plant home and he's feeding it, and it's this adorable hand puppet plant. Like you can literally see the hands like doing like the like thing. There's a big flower in the center. There's like 7 arms with like the hand puppets moving around, and the plant kills him because it needs blood.
A little shock of horrors.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that's the direction we were going. Then his girlfriend comes over because she's looking for him, and she sees the plant, and she's like, "Oh, what's this?" The plant bites her, but doesn't kill her. She turns into a vampire. And so now we're following her for the rest of the movie. And we don't get the plant anymore after that. So the plant goes, I know, that's the best part of the movie.
Feed me, Seymour.
Sylvia, she's the main character. She's a vampire. We flash forward a couple months. She's been in hiding for a while just because there's, suspicion that she killed her boyfriend or he's missing or something like that. Again, bad subtitles, bad copy. I'm doing my best. But there are lots of mysterious deaths that are happening in the meantime. The police can't figure it out. In between all of this, there is like some aerobics happening. There are random photo shoots with very necessary nudity. Sylvia, she's running this nightclub now, and she decides to put on a show called The Dance of the Seven Vampires. So that's where the title comes from. The private detective that ends up getting hired, he puts his secretary into the club to like go undercover to try and like get some information from all of it. Oh, his name is like Detective Marlowe or something like that too. So there's a cute little noir thing happening. I said it's a comedy, and it is. And so a lot of the humor, I think, got lost in the translation because of the bad copy and the bad subtitles. But from what I could get from it, it has a very Voyage of the Rock Aliens vibe, because there's like occasional songs that just pop up, but it's got a 1950s aesthetic. This is made in the 80s, but it feels like, I don't know if they meant it to be set in the 50s or they were just going for some like retro thing, or if that's like, because I know like when I went to Cuba, I was like, holy shit, it's like being in like the 60s here, because like all the cars are from that period, because, they have no imports.
Right.
But so I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I'm missing a lot with it, but I had fun with what I saw. So I gave it like 2.5 on Letterboxd. I feel like if I got a cleaned up copy with good subtitles, maybe studied up a little bit more on what was happening with this film and had some more context, I would like it a lot more, because it has a lot of fun elements. I wish the fucking plant was like the centerpiece here. Yeah. I really wish they were doing their own like Little Shop of Horrors.
Well, it's even got like songs and stuff and musical numbers. Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. not musical numbers, like not people singing, but like just full on like song. Oh, no. There are some performers on stage who sing like 50s-esque songs in it too. So anyway, I think you would like it, but I wouldn't recommend watching it unless it gets a release where you can actually see what's happening, have some good subtitles. All right, then day 23 is series episode. I watched another from the Hammer House of Horror set. I specifically watched episode 1, which is Witching Time. John Finch plays David, a composer who works on a remote farm, and he suspects his wife Mary is having an affair, because she is, with Ian McCulloch as Dr. Charles. We all know him from Zombie, of course. Mm-hmm. Then the ghost of a witch named Lucinda possesses him, and Hammer hijinks ensue for the rest of it. So I enjoyed this one a lot. The whole composer element was super fun, and just it sort of blends modern with old in that respect, where it's like, oh, this is like his sort of, this is his job. And oops, he got possessed by a witch who was killed on that property. With the explanation for how that happens, like how he discovers her, is a little bit lacking. I enjoyed it. I have yet to watch a Hammer House of Horror episode that I did not like. So,
oh well, my series episode is a Hammer House of Horror episode that I didn't like that much.
Oh no!
Yeah, Visitor from the Grave.
Okay.
This was episode 11 from the series. So it starts off with a man breaking into a home. He's terrorizing this woman. He's demanding to talk to her husband, Harry, who isn't there. Then he starts kissing her, kind of setting up that he's going to rape her. And she grabs a shotgun and shoots him in the face, blows his face apart. Dead.
Okay.
Her husband, Harry, arrives the next morning, and he finds that it's an old business acquaintance of his, a guy named Charlie. So Harry tells his wife to clean up the place because he doesn't have a license for the gun, and he'll be put in jail, and she would probably be sent to an asylum for the murder. So something seems off with the husband to me right away. I'm like, okay, something's up. And he buries Charlie not far from the house while his wife cleans up the place. Then his wife, throughout the episode, though, his wife starts seeing Charlie, the dead man, popping up like while she's shopping downtown or going to a party, and she's really freaking out. A lot of rinse and repeat of that for, again, far too long, in my opinion. And this is just like a little series episode. There's just, I get it. She sees the dead body. Mm-hmm. Like, this is only like a 50-minute long episode. Let's get this going. And yeah, her husband, again, is very gaslighting. She swears she sees him. He's like, chill out, take a pill. And the two leads, the husband and the wife, to me were boring. Like, I think they're doing what how the characters were written. They're performing as what they were handed, but they're just not written very well, in my opinion. There is a medium that pops up named Margaret, who's really great. I wish there was more of her. But yeah, this thing just didn't hold my interest. Pretty good setup, very boring middle, and the ending is just like, it wasn't satisfying to me at all. It didn't feel like Hammer. Okay. The episode should have been called Terrible Husband. Like, that's it. It's like, definitely my least favorite Hammer House of Horror, the episode that I've watched so far. Day 24, Ingrid Pitt, Countess Dracula.
Oh, I watched this one too.
Yeah.
I think you liked it a little bit more than me.
Oh, yeah. I gave it 4 stars.
I saw that. I gave it 3. I still liked it, but I don't know. I think I just was like, I wasn't expecting a Bathory film. I was expecting more like, oh, there's going to be some sort of connection to Dracula. And I get it. Like, it's, it's blood and everyone suspects vampire. And like, they just literally call her Countess Dracula at the end.
I kind of dug that because that's in a small village. If there's a countess who's killing chambermaids and that's all you're going to be all Countess Dracula.
Yeah.
It is a misleading title.
Yeah. But I did love Dobby. Uncle Dobby. And him just, this poor guy, man, he's
got blue balls the entire fucking movie. He just wants to get with the Countess.
Yeah.
But she is the young guy that she's hooking up with. She's acting like her own daughter. Her daughter's coming to visit.
Yeah.
And
she pretends to be her daughter because she discovers, like, when she puts some blood on her, that it de-ages her, and she's beautiful Ingrid Pitt, not old lady ugly makeup Ingrid Pitt.
Right.
And so she pretends to be her daughter. And yeah, the dude she's hooking up with.
He looked like a mustache Paul Rudd a little bit to me. He's an attractive guy.
He's a good looking dude.
But the whole time, Dobby, who is, he's like the Christopher Lee character. Like,
yeah.
I read some, actually, I think Adam brought it up in Discord. Like, I wish Christopher Lee played this character.
It seemed like a perfect role for him.
I disagree. I mean, I think visually it kind of looks like him, but I feel like it would have been a more serious tone with Christopher Lee. And that would have taken away from Dobby.
No, okay, I can see that, yeah.
Dobby made it feel like at points when I was watching The Princess Bride, and he was like Prince Humperdinck trying to nail, Princess Buttercup. All he wanted to do was have sex with her. I felt this guy in every scene he was in. What was the actor's name? Nigel Green.
Okay.
And he was wonderful in this. I love.
No, I think that I don't think that there's anything wrong with his performance. It just, I see where Adam's coming from, where it's like you see someone in that role, and not only does he have that presence of Christopher Lee,
and it's a Hammer movie.
Yeah, it's that I was like, and I'm not saying that Ingrid Pitt can't carry a movie, because her and her bust definitely can, but it just felt to me when Adam said that, I was like, yeah, I can definitely see that. But I think to your point, this guy, Nigel Green, is great. I
mean, I'd be willing to bet that Hammer probably offered the role to Lee first, and he was probably busy or something. Because you would want Christopher Lee in any movie you're making, regardless of the part.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this. It should have been called the Countess Smearing Blood on Herself.
Countess Bathory, would have been fine, but it's fine. I mean, Countess Dracula is going to get more butts in the seat, so I don't hate him for naming it that. But I was like, it's inaccurate. Push his glasses up. All right. Haunted House. This is another one I changed a few times. I ended up watching. Why did I pick this? Is there a dead kid in it? No. Is there? No. I watched Book of Blood from 2009. Now this is, I know. Dang, see, Lance is making a face.
You have a lot of 2000s.
I know. I'm a hater this year. So this is based on the wraparound story from Clive Barker's Books of Blood. It's not based on one of the stories within Books of Blood. It's the wraparound story. So it's about a paranormal investigator / author who recruits a videographer and a psychic to come live with her in a house in Scotland that has a haunted history. So we already know that this house is an intersection of the highways of the dead, because there's text on screen that tells us that it's said in like some other part of the film, and then the author lady finally discovers it later. So there's that aspect of like, we're waiting for the characters in the film to catch up to what we already know. And those frustrate me sometimes. Mm-hmm. There's some good gore moments in this and enough horniness to make it distinguishable as a Barker film. The guy who directed it, though, he did the Tales from the Dark Side movie and a bunch of those episodes from the TV show. And he actually worked under Romero. So I think that's partially why I wanted to give it a chance. Oh, I know why I watched this movie. Because I was originally supposed to have a trip to California. And I was getting close to the end of the month. And I was like, let me just find some stuff that's on Prime so I can download it to my tablet and watch them on there. And so I was looking for movies specifically that were on Prime. That's why I watched this movie.
Okay.
I was like, why did I do this to myself? Okay, that's why. So it's not that great, but a lot of that is because the characters are not really likable. Like none of them are.
Yeah, that's always a tough watch.
There's a cock shot in this though, so I appreciate that.
Respect.
I gave it 3 stars. It's not a 3-star movie. I just have a soft spot for anything Barker, hence my gigantic Hellraiser poster over here. Mm-hmm. Doug Bradley is in this. It's more of a cameo, though. He has no spoken lines in it. He plays someone who was like a psychic swindler from like a previous life, and his ghost sort of haunts the place that they're in. So I don't recommend it, but it's just, if you're a Barker completist, kind of like I am, go for it.
Nice.
What about you? Haunted House.
More Mexican horror. Vacation of Terror from 1989.
Okay.
Rene Cardona III. About a man who inherits a country house from his deceased aunt. And he moves his family out there, which includes his pregnant wife, young daughter, and twin boys, because, twins are creepy as fuck.
They are.
His niece and her boyfriend also come to check the place out. But so centuries before, an ancestor of the family was accused of being a witch. She was burned on the property. And when she was burned, this is all in the opening scene, her soul was moved to a doll, which was then thrown down a well that's in the property, which the little girl, the daughter, ends up finding. And it's another possessed doll fucking movie. We've seen all these before. This one is, there's a few scenes that set it apart from like a possessed doll haunted house movie. It kind of steals and repurposes ideas from like Poltergeist. There's the eggs opening up and cracking, or that's in Ghostbusters. In Ghostbusters, there's that. Yeah, it seems like they pull a lot of inspirations from previous movies. But there are some cool practical effects. The pregnant wife, her belly starts bubbling. There's like these knives that are thrown on their own, which look cool. It's handled really well. Snakes in the closet, like it was good. I mean,
not on a plane.
No, okay. I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking closet. It was a little slow, but the third act kind of makes up for it because it does go kind of balls to the wall and just kind of nuts. It was okay. I forgot what I gave this, maybe 3 stars. Day 26 is Mexico. I watched Chabelo and Pepito versus the Monsters from 1973. This is directed by Jose Estrada. The composer, first off, the music right away lifted me up. It's just this kind of dynamic score. And I was like, who is this guy? Sergio Guerrero, who scored The Ship of Monsters.
Okay.
And this kind of feels like that. Same type of vibe. Very uplifting, very happy. People are just in positive moods. We have this young boy named Pepito and his cousin, Chabelo, who is played by an adult, by the way. But he's a kid. Everybody sees him as a kid.
Okay.
And they cause all sorts of trouble at home, pretending they're soldiers. They're just wrecking the house. And Pepito's sister's boyfriend is a Boy Scout troop leader, and he offers to take Pepito and Chabelo on a camping trip that he's leading that weekend. And they go along. The sister ends up joining them later, and Pepito's very annoyed that his sister's there, right? So he talks Chabelo into sneaking away from the camp to explore this kind of off-limits cave that they heard about. Oh, and the night before that they left for the camping trip, they were watching the news at home, and a dangerous gorilla had escaped from a circus or a zoo or something, right? So there's like a killer gorilla on the loose. They get to the cave, which looks amazing. Amazing sets, great fake bats. They come across a mummy's tomb, and a mummy comes out. Then a creature from the Black Lagoon, whose mouth is just a man wearing a mask. And the mouth's open on the creature, and you could see the man's mouth is flicking at his tongue. All that. So endearing. But then the gorilla shows up, and they starts fighting with the creature. But while this is happening, Frankenstein breaks through a wall.
Oh no!
And puts the gorilla in a sleeper hold and kills it. Right. So the troops goes looking for them. They're very worried, and they come across kind of each of these elements: the empty mummy tomb, the dead gorilla. And to me, it all started feeling like, Goonies totally ripped this off. Like the Fratellis were seeing what the kids have already been through. But anyway, obviously a werewolf shows up.
Well, yeah.
One of the creepiest looking vampires I've ever seen pops up. And then the last 20 minutes, I'm not even really going to talk about, because this thing even gets even weirder into this weird sci-fi direction. It's just wonderful. I'll just say it involves robots, brain transplants, and an international gang that traffics uranium.
Holy shit.
So much fun. The Chabuelo character is really funny because all he does is fucking eat all the time. He's the adult playing the kid, and all he wants to do is eat.
Yeah.
If you don't find him funny, because his voice is very grating.
Okay.
It's like, oh my God, it's just like very high pitched, and he just tries to act like a kid, but he's not. It'll be a long watch for you. Okay. But I found him hilarious, and I loved everything he was doing.
Okay.
Doubt there's a release of this out there, but I want one with legit subtitles. I'd also pair this with Ship of Monsters.
Okay. Did you watch? I saw it's on Tubi. Is that where you watched it with subs? Or?
No, I don't think Tubi had subs. I think I watched it on YouTube.
Okay.
With like automatic auto-generated subs.
Okay.
So yeah, it was definitely broken. You can probably watch it without subs and know what's happening.
I mean, it sounds like it. So yeah, it says it's on Roku too. So I might try there and see if it's got subs on there.
It's wonderful. One of my favorites of the month for sure.
Armando gave it 5 stars. Oh, Armando, you give a lot of 5 stars, Armando, but like.
Well, this one it's justifiable. I can understand it.
Okay.
What about you?
So my pick for Mexico was Bosque de Muerte. So speaking of Armando, him and Joey from Trash Max Podcast asked us to weigh in on a couple of films and whether or not we thought they were slashers. This one is, but it takes about an hour of its 80-minute runtime to get there. Has a lot of the trappings, including some, stalking from the bushes and a throat slash and horny teenagers and red herrings, but also a really, really obvious killer that not a lot of thought went into. The highlight for me, there's like a head. Someone gets decapitated and their head gets thrown through a window. So that was a lot of fun. But listen to the Trash Mex podcast. They did a whole series of Oye Bro es un Slasher, I think is what the series is called. They're basically, hey bro, is this a slasher? And they paired up 2 films. I think they had 4 episodes that month. They covered a lot of movies. So definitely recommend checking those episodes and all of their episodes out. They're always fun. Next episode, day 27, Witches and Warlocks. This was another Sweetest Taboo movie that I just wanted to get through. 2 witches from 2021. So there's this witch who is on her deathbed, basically, and she's told by her husband, Satan, that her time is coming soon and that her powers are going to pass to her granddaughter. So the old witch, she decides to have a couple of babies for her last meal.
Very nice.
There it is. So this one, it does a little bit of like going from different characters to different characters, and it's already, the end sets it up for a sequel automatically. So this younger woman, the granddaughter, she inherits the powers, but she's already kind of socially awkward, and she moves in with this roommate, and the roommate's like really forgiving and really like generous with her, but she gets to a point where she's like, yeah, this is too much. You gotta go. So it's basically like this young witch taking some vengeance on some other people who wronged her when she's trying to fit in. I don't know. This one was kind of like a roller coaster for me, like up and down. Like I was like, like that, where it was like, okay, babies get eaten. And it's like, oh, wait, they're eating them off screen. The actors look like normal people. Yay, we're not like pretty and polished. But then they do that terrible trope of, like the CGI really fast head shake, that that thing. I fucking hate that.
Like a Marilyn Manson video or something.
Yes. There's a baby stew with the little baby skull in it. So I was very happy about that. But there's a lot of violence to the witch is the main character, the younger one. Her name's Masha. She's played by Rebecca Kennedy. So she's like the main younger witch. 2 different men's reaction to her like being either obnoxious or like saying some curse is to punch her in the face. Like it's
What else are they supposed to do?
I don't. Anyway,
It's terrible.
There's a very cute bunny in it, but then it dies.
Real bunny?
Yeah.
You can't really tell.
Well, you can't. I mean, I'm sure it's not because it's 2021, but like they killed the bunny. I guess one thing I can say about it, another positive thing, is that like it doesn't treat the audience like babies by explaining everything. So there's not a lot of excessive dialogue and treating the audience just like an idiot. So there's that, but God, there's gonna be a sequel. I really don't want to see it.
I mean, if there's dead babies,
I know I'm gonna have to, but yeah. So what about you? Witches or warlocks?
Witches or warlocks? I picked Irma Linda from 1984. It's a horror comedy from Mexico, directed by Julio Aldama. This is based on a comic book from the 1960s, apparently.
Okay.
Joey and Armando did an episode on this.
Oh, that's why it sounds familiar.
And when I saw the poster, which has since been updated, sadly, on Letterboxd. I really wanted to see it. It was like her flying on a vacuum cleaner and just looked like a Mad Magazine like centerpiece art. Wonderful. You get that in the film too. She does fly on a on a fucking vacuum cleaner. But this all takes place. It takes place on Halloween night. In the very beginning, Hermelinda is she's sharing this story to a coven of witches, and the story is basically she talks about how she takes odd jobs to make money, doing random spells like making an old man younger. But the rule is he can't get hot or, like sweaty, or else it'll wear off and he'll turn back to an old man.
Okay.
And later in the movie, in the story, he goes to a party and Linda's there with her daughter and he's dancing and he starts sweating, getting real hot. So we get this great Hammer-esque body dissolve scene of his hair and his eyeballs popping out, all like just really funny stuff. Actually good practical effects in this. But the majority of the film is Linda, and her daughter, who is also a witch. They're working together to stop development of their neighborhood from turning it into condominiums.
Okay.
So Mario Van Peebles is rapping, basically. That's what I kept thinking of. Remember,
yeah,
I love that movie.
I know you do.
But Linda and her daughter can communicate with each other telepathically, which is really fun to watch. This has actually a very synth-heavy original score, which is surprising. And it's like synth, like the Madman scenes where he jumps out of the house and it's like,
yeah,
like there's a lot of that.
Okay.
There are a few musical numbers, which I always get behind and praise. Linda's musical number is so fucking funny. I was literally laughing out loud by myself watching this thing. Yeah, you do get what was on the original poster, sadly, which has been updated on Letterboxd, where she's flying on the vacuum. And then the scene's great because it's like a little puppet on a string scene of her flying around like a modeled house and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The singing cowboy himself, Lariano from Ship of Monsters, he pops up in this.
Oh, yay.
Eulalio Gonzalez. And he is a cowboy hat wearing, gun toting, corrupt politician. And he sings a long song and dances, and he's fucking Lariano. Quick singing scene. I'm not familiar with a lot of the acts and performers that have kind of quick cameos that pop up in this.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems like it's a who's who of Mexican pop culture. I haven't listened to the Trash Mix episode yet, and I'm going to. But what I especially loved about this is that even with 10 minutes left in the movie, I had no idea how it was going to end. So this was one of my favorite movies of the month. Okay. I gave it 4 stars. There's a sequel, which Joey and Armando said isn't as endearing or funny. Oh, okay. But I have it queued up. I'm going to watch it.
Okay. Of course you are.
Is it me still? Yep. Okay. In memoriam. I picked The Last Wave from 1977. This was a shift. I think I had Intruder. I went back and forth on this. I watched this one in November. This was one I'd been putting off. Actor Richard Chamberlain, he passed away in March of this year.
Okay.
He was Aramis and Richard Lester's The Three Musketeers with Oliver Reed and who was the other? Michael York. Mm-hmm. He played Alan Quaterman in the King Solomon's Mines. If you remember that Indiana Jones, everybody called it Indiana Jones ripoff.
He's in Murder by Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that could have been my pick. That's another one I talked with Sam about.
Oh, really?
Episode. Yeah.
He's great. I think he's a great actor. But The Last Wave it has a horror tag, but it's mainly like an Australian mystery thriller. It's about an indigenous Australian, or they call him Aborigine in this. This indigenous Australian is found dead, and there's other indigenous men that are questioned for the murder. And a man, Richard Chamberlain, he takes on the case and begins having these nightmares of the men that are involved. It pretty much hints at white man destroying these tribal cultures and beliefs, forcing city life on these indigenous Australians. But then it becomes like apocalyptic with the rebirth of the world, and it gets real trippy, very psychological, like upsetting. It's psychologically upsetting. Hard to decipher what's real and dream in a lot of scenes, and that's what the character is going through. But in the end, I was like, it doesn't really matter because we're all just going to fucking die. Like, and that's kind of the outlook of this movie. It's a downer. It's just unsettling. I think it's a prime example of what I feel is an annoyingly overused phrase when describing horror movies or any movie genre. They just don't make them like they used to. I think this is a perfect example of that. Very disturbing, well acting, thought out, open to interpretation type of thriller. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
R.I.P. Richard Chamberlain. What was your in memoriam pick?
So mine was House from 2008. This is from Michael Madsen.
Here you go again. A lot of 2000s.
Well, here's the thing. This was not my pick originally, but then Celeste told me there's a dead kid in this one.
Okay. I mean, yeah, this all makes sense.
Anytime I'm picking something for
it's
like
just very surprising.
Two Witches of Dead Kids, like I'll make it up in the last 3 picks after this, I promise. So Michael Madsen in this, he plays a local sheriff or local traffic cop, but he also plays the villain called the Tin Man.
Oh.
In this,
I'm the Tin Man.
He's not dressed up like the Tin Man in this. So he plays he's a villain who makes people pay for their sins, basically. So there's 2 different couples. They both break down on a remote road separately. And then they all end up at this remote inn run by the Budget Sawyer family. Bill Moseley is even in this cast too. So it's 2008, ugly sepia, unlikable characters, nonsense plot, forced Satanism. And so, you just did your impression. You know what Michael Madsen sounds like.
Yeah.
You know what Lance Henriksen sounds like.
Yeah.
Why would they hire Lance Henriksen to do the voice over of the Tin Man rather than have Michael Madsen just speak his lines?
I mean, if you can get Lance Henriksen for any reason.
Well, they did for that.
And it's just purpose. A voiceover?
It's just a voice. He's not in the movie. He's just doing
played
the
voice. The Tin Man.
It's fucking stupid.
But I guess that would have made sense.
It has
That's funny.
Yeah, it has a child kill in the flashback. It's still my least favorite watch of the month. And the letterbox description made me hate it even more because part of it is like based on the best-selling novel by Ted Dekker. And I'm like, fuck is Ted Dekker? And I look him up, and he is a New York Times best-selling author of Christian mystery, fantasy, and thriller novels. And he looks like an absolute fucking douchebag. Look up an image of him and tell me that isn't the biggest fucking douchebag you've ever seen.
How do you spell Dekker? C-K?
K-K.
American author. Whoa, he's like Chris Angel or something. Or no, he's like Chris Gaines. Garth Brooks is...
Yeah, ew. Yeah, that's exactly what he looks like. Put on a little like soul patch.
Yeah, exactly.
He's certainly... He's gross. So anyway.
Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my in memoriam watch. I chose poorly, but again, I had to watch it for a dead kid anyway. So don't watch that movie. Celeste also watched it. So they cover it in their YouTube video, so you can check it out. What they thought of it, pretty much the same. Like forced Satanism, stupid. Like, oh look, pentagram, scary Satanism. It's dumb. On to what is always one of my favorite categories: Hammer or British, really. In this case, I finally got around to watching The Mummy from 1959.
Oh, I love
for the first time. Years of putting it off, and my God, what a treat. Peter Cushing limping around, uncovering the mystery of the mummy. Lee's really expressive eyes through the shroud. So happy I finally watched it, but now my list of great horror movies to see for the first time is one shorter. I think you've said this, and I would definitely agree after watching this. This is the best mummy film.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I think it's very vibey, and I think it's the best looking mummy. Mm-hmm. The mummy from Monster Squad looks badass, but this is. But
that's like a character in a troupe,
right?
Like this is like mummy focused. I love this movie. I love how you see the physicality of Peter Cushing. Like you see that in the original Dracula with, him jumping off the table to grab the curtains, like his physicality, it's here as well, even though he's got like, the broken leg in this. But this was such a treat.
He's like my age in this. Love Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
I didn't get any Peter Cushing in mine.
Everyone needs it every October. You got to get your dose of Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, and Christopher Lee. Otherwise, your October is not complete.
I mean, I've seen a lot. I mean, obviously not all of it. He has hundreds of movies, but he's my most watched actor for sure. And my Hammer pick wasn't. I mean, I had put it off because Peter Cushing was not in this. It's the Horror of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Which Victor Frankenstein is Peter Cushing in all the Hammer Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
This one, Victor Frankenstein is played by Ralph Bates, who I'm a big fan of, especially in another Hammer film, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
He was in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, right?
I think he is in that one too.
Okay, because so they played that at AFS this last month, and Lars introduced it, and it's always great when Lars introduces a film there, and he was talking about how the original plan for that movie was to have Ralph Bates, like, he's going to be Dracula now because Christopher Lee's like, I'm done, no more, no more Dracula movies.
I don't know.
But then the U.S. distributor for Hammer Films was, when they said, oh yeah, here's what we're going to do, and Ralph Bates, and they're like, what? No, get Christopher Lee. We're not having that. So they went back to Christopher Lee and were like, hey, so we know we said like peace out after you didn't want to do this, but we actually do need you back here. And
wow.
I'm sure they threw a bunch of money at him to do it. And you can see clearly that they're trying to set up Ralph Bates to be the next Dracula.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's great. It was my first time seeing it as well. But you can clearly see they're setting him up to be it. And then they're like, oh no, just plop in Christopher Lee here, and he's Dracula for the rest of the movie. And yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, Ralph Bates, and no, it's not fair to him to compare him to Peter Cushing as Victor Frankenstein. No. And this kind of works because it's a prequel to all that. He's a young Frankenstein. He's going to college. He's at university, and he's at odds with all the professors. Mm-hmm. He's at odds with his father, who's refusing to give him money because he just wants to do his experiments. So he sabotages one of his father's hunting rifles, and his father's killed. And he becomes Baron and basically takes over the estate, and he has all the money in the world to do all his own experiments. But it was just middle of the road for me. It's definitely the weakest for the obvious reason of the Hammer Frankenstein films. I think he does. Ralph Bates does a really good job being completely fixated and emotionless, like most Frankensteins are. I saw a lot of, when I watched Guillermo del Toro's 2025 Frankenstein, I saw more Ralph Bates and Oscar Isaac's performance than I did in previous Victor Frankenstein. So I thought that was interesting. But it just has a bit too much of like ladies falling in love with him when he only cares about his experiments. And it turns into police looking for the monster because he kills a man late in the movie. Mm-hmm. It kind of works, like I said, as a prequel, almost like an origin story, and then later we get Peter Cushing, but it didn't work entirely for me. Darth Vader himself, David Prowse, he plays the creature, mm-hmm. and it's a most boring creature I've seen. He's just like this flesh-covered, buff bully who just.
So would Rosalba Neary fuck him?
Probably. Mm. He's got a big head. But yeah, I mean, Victor treats him like a dog. I again, it's very like 2025 Frankenstein, this one.
Okay.
Lame ending, I thought. Yeah, nothing special here, sadly.
Okay. I think I've seen it. I don't remember it that much because it's, if it's not Cushing, it's not memorable to me.
Yeah. And again, I think Ralph Bates is great, but just not, they probably shouldn't have made this. That's it.
Fair.
Still me, huh?
1980s.
Okay. Oh, damn, we're almost done.
Yeah.
The Dracula Dynasty from 1980. This is another Mexican horror directed by Alfredo B. Crevena, who directed my 4.5-star On the Edge of Terror that I watched earlier in the month. First off, this has a few of your favorite things, Erica. Mm? It has an amazing fake bat to open this up. And then about 13 minutes in, we have Dracula killing his first victim, a young boy, definitely under 12 years old.
Okay. Wait, did you already tell me about this one?
No, I didn't. Okay. I want this as a surprise.
Oh, okay. What's it called? Dracula's what?
The Dracula Dynasty from 1980. About 30 minutes in, we get an even better child kill.
Oh, okay.
When he picks up an even younger kid, bites it and kills it. I'm calling it because that's what children are.
They are its.
So yeah, add that to your list. Even though there are fake bats and child kills, this thing is slow as molasses.
Oh, no.
The majority of it is Dracula, who has this female servant who turns into a Doberman every once in a while.
You still gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, well, yeah. It worked for me. But basically, we're just following them trying to purchase an old house in Mexico where their master, Antonio de Orloff, is buried. Mm-hmm. He was murdered 300 years ago, and they traveled there to resurrect him. And it's so telenovela. So you can understand my higher than normal rating.
Sure. Now I do, yes.
I really like how they killed one of the vampires in this. Obviously there's a stake through the heart, but as she's yelling, one of the guys grabs just all these, they're raw cloves of garlic. I mean, they're not like, open cloves or like you just buy a whole thing of garlic. Mm-hmm. What is it called? I don't know. It's not a clove.
The clove is a little thing. What's the
big bundle, like the big
garlic?
The big garlic. A handful of raw, not cloved garlic. And just shoves it in her mouth while she's screaming.
Oh, okay.
And she dies with it. And you got all this garlic hanging out. And then they close the coffin. Okay. And I'm like, this is badass.
Yeah, the closest to that would be like they had that garlic bath in Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Garlic don't work, boys. Try holy water, death breath. Love that movie. But yeah, the garlic is great in the mouth. Even though it's slow paced, I had a really good time with it. Right. It looked great. At first I thought it was made for TV, but as it went on, it was kind of epic. And it's shot by Xavier Cruz, who was the cinematographer for Alucarda and The Evil That Men Do.
Oh,
so it's well shot. I recommend it.
Nice.
And you're going to have to watch it.
Yeah, I am.
No.
All right, 1980s. This is another one that I talked to Sam about on her Telephone Terror episode. That's Disconnected from 1984.
Yes, it's good.
So this girl, Alicia, she starts receiving bizarre, discordant phone calls after breaking up with her boyfriend. She ends up going on a few dates with this film nerd, Franklin, whom she meets at the video store that she works at. Although I have an issue with how the tapes are organized. Clearly not alphabetical. Visiting hours is on the top shelf. Halloween 1 through 3 on the bottom. I don't know what's happening. It's weird. So she goes out with this guy, Franklin. He turns out to be a serial killer, but the calls don't stop even after she's sort of dating him. And so we're like, is it, maybe it's not him. Maybe there's something else going on. One of the victims is her twin sister, who's played by the same actress. I know you love that. It's got a similar synth to I Drink Your Blood, which I really enjoyed. It's such an odd movie. And I love that about it. And the fact that the very end, I'm not going to spoil it, is just leaves you scratching your head like, wait, what?
Yeah. This was one I've had for a potential No Rules November pick, actually. Okay. But yeah. I don't think we will. We were covering it on this. And
okay. Yeah. Did I just ruin that for you?
No.
Okay.
No, I have a side list of potential picks. Obviously, I'd never pick anything until the night before, and
after I'm like, Lance, what's your fucking pick?
And it's nothing on my list. So
meanwhile, I'm planned out till 2035. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this one. This and Out of the Dark were two of my favorites from that we talked about. The other one that we talked about was Eyes of a Stranger, which is completely unhinged. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely recommend watching that one. It's Jennifer Jason Leigh in one of her first roles.
Oh yeah. I've not seen that.
I do want to make sure people know that is not how trauma works just before you watch it. That is absolutely not how it works, but it is unhinged. All right. Last one, viewer's choice, day 31. This is another one of my favorites of the month. I went heavy on Todd Browning this year, or this month rather. And Todd Browning is the only white guy to break my top directors this year.
Oh, wow.
Which we'll talk about in our end of year episode, our letterbox stats. But mine is very heavy over in Hong Kong. So I watched Mark of the Vampire from 1935. This is starring Bela Lugosi as Count Mora and Lionel Barrymore as a professor who's investigating a murder which appears to have been committed by a vampire. It's just over an hour long, has amazing fake bats, amazing fake spiders. There's a moment where Luna, who is Lugosi's sort of female vampire sidekick, She flies in with a large pair of wings, and it's second only to Lorena Velasquez in Ship of Monsters as far as an entrance and flying in on big wings. Like, it's pretty great. But yeah, there's like, these murders, they seem like, oh, is it vampiric? And so there's a lot of suspicion being cast on Count Mora and his assistant. And it's all a very sort of clever unfolding in the end of it. I don't want to give anything away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but Mark of the Vampire, 1935, Todd Browning, another of my favorites of the month. All the Todd Browning movies bangers that I watched this month.
Nice.
What about you?
Viewer's choice. I went with the cartoon. A German animated horror film, Felidae from 1994. It's a murder mystery involving cats.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few humans that pop up in it, but we follow a cat named Francis. And that's exactly how he says his name. It's all German. And then all of a sudden, like, what's your name? Francis.
Yeah. Deaf Crocodile put this one out.
They did. Yeah. This was on Tubi, and it's Deaf Crocodile's upload. So
nice. Okay.
It's very clean. The subtitles are great. But this cat just moved into a new neighborhood, and he immediately finds a dead body of a cat. He teams up with a rough cat named Bluebeard, who loves to walk up onto buildings and just spray. They said Bluebeard was here. It's gross. But they start finding more dead cats, and they work to find out who the killer is. It's basically like a giallo. It's pretty fun to watch. Francis is kind of the only cat who believes another cat killed it, where everybody thinks it's the can openers known as humans.
Mm-hmm.
Visually, I really dug it. I miss this type of animation style. Maybe it's still out there and I just don't watch a lot of modern cartoons, but it gave me like, a heavy metal vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, again, this is usually I overrate stuff, but people I follow on Letterboxd seem to enjoy this a lot more than I did. I felt the pacing and the story's just very disjointed. It's not really hard to follow, but it's kind of presented in a way that makes it more complicated than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I was never really hooked. I hate to say that I wasn't a fan of the German voice actors. Just didn't work to me, like with the visual cartoon characters. Yeah. I did read Armando wrote a review on Letterboxd, which he really enjoyed it, like most people that I follow. He wrote, think of it as Blue Velvet and Aristocats in German. And it made perfect sense to me because Francis the cat is essentially like Jeffrey Beaumont from Blue Velvet trying to solve this murder. All these oddball characters are popping in from time to time. Definitely has that giallo aspect to it, trying to figure out who the killer is. But overall, I was just kind of lukewarm on it. I liked the art. I liked the animation. It gets really gory. There's cat fighting and they gut each other. And it's pretty gory for a cartoon.
Okay.
Just really wasn't a fan of the storytelling and voice acting.
All right.
That's it. We finished it.
Whew. All right. We're going to wrap it up here quickly. If you're not already, you can follow us on Instagram at Unsung Horrors. I'm on Letterboxd and Instagram at Hex Massacre.
I'm there at El Schibi.
Thank you once again to everyone who participated in this year's Horror Gives Back, who shared their picks, who donated, whether to our fundraiser or to one that's near and dear to your heart. What else? Oh, next episode is my pick for No Rules November. We'll be watching Aunt Alejandra, and we'll be having a returning guest confirmed.
Oh, good.
Abraham Castillo Flores will be back to talk about the movie with us. I'm very excited. We love Abraham here, and it's been a long time coming to have him back. So that'll be coming out the week of Thanksgiving. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of The Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description